Alright, it's time to quick leak some more! This time it's Shinryu's turn and we're going to be reading The Prisoner of Time, aka the penultimate adventure of Lone Wolf as a Kai Master. So, yeah, we might as well skip things as fast as possible. I mean, it's only been 1 week since the last adventure, so just in order to do a quick recap of what happened thus far. I mean, okay, we have all of this text over here, but yeah, we successfully made our way to the Daziarn fortress of Torgar in order to get the last 3 Lorestones that Dark Lord Gnaag ended up stealing from us. We ended up getting one of them, but unfortunately, Dark Lord Gnaag kind of got the drop on us and decided to fulfill his vow that he will say that he will destroy the Lorestones alongside with us. So he cast us as well than the last 2 Lorestones into some sort of interdimensional portal. And we're kind of lost in the middle of nowhere. We have no clue where we're going, and yeah, that's essentially the gist of what happened. So yeah, because of that, you know what? The whole equipment part, yeah, it's like if you've successfully completed any of the previous Lone Wolf adventure, you will already possess equipment and special item, which you may now use during your adventure in the Daziarn. So pass over this section and turn instead to the improved discipline section. So yeah, unless this is your first adventure of the Lone Wolf series, and I absolutely do not recommend that you ever do this, because this book is gonna fucking destroy you if this is your first book of the series ever. So yeah, you know all of these items, nah, we don't care about them, we gotta go with all of the stuff that we have available. So as far as the new things that we've ended up getting involved, we now have Hunt Mastery, which means that we're no longer gonna starve in the wild, even if we end up into places that are completely inhospitable and full of nothing to eat. So now we no longer really have to concern ourselves with meals. And it also gives us the ability to move very swiftly, and it also makes it so that we do not lose combat skill points if we end up being surprised by an ambush. So that's what Hunt Mastery in particular does for us, and it also gives us telescopic vision, but at that point it's just, you know, it's a detail. Okay, with that said, before we actually move on, it's like, okay, this is gonna look weird for a second. Like, I kind of thought about something. So yeah, we're going to see some... Oh. Why is this the last prediction? Well, it's like, shut the fuck up. Alright. Yep, we also completed the lore circle of Solaris. So, okay, alright, at that point, will Shinryu die before we finish this book? Okay, so yes and no, and alright, submission period, it's gonna be like 30 minutes. You have a whole 30 minutes in order to guess whether we're going to beat this book before Shinryu dies or something like that. Yeah, will Shinryu shut the fuck up? So yeah, cast your votes now. Oh, thank you, the Lord of Demons, for the bit. Thank you very much. Alright, so now let's actually start without any further ado. Your visit to the Twilight World of the Daziarn will be fraught with supernatural danger. As you search for the 2 remaining Lorestones, be on your guard at all times, for here even the laws of nature are strange and unstable. Make notes as you progress through the said story, for they will be of great help, both in this quest and in the ultimate Magna Kai adventure which follows it. Many things that you will find will help you during your mission. Some special item will be of use in this and future Lone Wolf books, while other may be red herring of no real value at all. If this is your first Magnakai adventure, be sure to choose your 3 Magnakai discipline with care. For a wise choice, enable any player to complete the quest, no matter how weak their initial combat skill and endurance point score. Successful completion of previous Lone Wolf adventure, although an advantage, is not essential for the completion of this Magnakai adventure. Note! Due to several unavoidable difficult combat in this book, it is practically impossible for a new or average character to complete this adventure successfully. Even a character with optimal choices of equipment, of discipline, and the highest possible score for combat skill and endurance will have a difficult time with this adventure. So yeah, thank you Grumpy Old Milk for the sub, thank you very much. Essentially, the book here is telling you, you know the whole claim about how no matter how bad your scores is, you can't win. It's like, no, actually, fuck you. You will lose. So yeah, the future of Magnamund and the restoration of your warrior elite depend on the success of your Daziarn quest. May the spirit of your ancestor and the wisdom of the great god Kai guide your journey along the path of the Magnakai. Good luck. All sense of time and space is lost as you plunge headlong into the whirling black throat of the abyss. Only a numbing chill and a mournful sound like a million voices crying despair accompany you in your descent into the unknown. Gradually your mind is filled with fearful visions, nightmare shapes that reach out of the darkness to claw and bite and scream at your passing. They grow in menace until they are swiftly dispelled by diamond-shaped motes of light which streak past at incredible speeds. The tiny light engulfs you in a cone of fiery brilliance, and a metallic smell of ozone, sharp and pungent, assails your nostril. A sensation of warmth surges through your frozen limb. Then, an instant later, you strike solid ground with such a suddenness that you're left stunned and panting for breath. Alright, pick a number from the random number table. If you pick 0, it counts as 10. The number that we get corresponds to the number of HP we lose. Alright, we lose 7 HP traversing the Shadow Gate. Alright, we're off to a great start. Alright, turn to 20. With dread anticipation, you stagger to your feet to survey your new surroundings. A bleak and desolate plateau, seemingly devoid of life, stretches into the distance on all sides. Jagged boulders litter a desert of crimson sand which is stirred to restless motion by fierce and scorching winds. Neither sun nor moon hang in the amber skies above, yet their absence does not leave this world in darkness, for all along the horizon blazes a fire which glows brighter than 1,000 sunsets. You stare across this alien landscape and a feeling of helplessness grips your sense as you realize where you have emerged. This is the twilight world of the Daziarn Plain. A knot of fear tightens in your stomach as you recall what little you've heard about this world. The magician of Summerlone believed it to be an astral corridor that connects Magnamund with other planes of existence. Thank you, brother Monk, for the sub, and hi, Cosmic Afro, how you doing? So, by passing through a Shadow Gate, one of which is situated below the Guild Hall in Toran, a person can gain entry to the Daziarn. However, those who have passed through the Shadow Gate in Toran have never been seen again, and the magicians believe that the journey can be made in only one direction. They say there is no escape from the Daziarn. Your vow to restore the kind, your stubborn will to survive against all odds, refuse to let you believe that there is no way back to your home world. You cast aside your fear and steel yourself for the task of finding a means of escaping from this desolate place. But firstly, you must recover the 2 Lorestones that fell into the Shadow Gate shortly before you. Alright, we have divination with the Kai rank of tutelary or higher. Yes, we do. Thank you, Joey Gatorman, for the sub. Thank you very much. You scan the barren wasteland, straining your senses to detect the missing Lorestones, which must be somewhere along the million of rocks and wind-smoothed boulder that cover the vast plateau. But it proved a fruitless search. You can find no trace of the Lorestone, nor even the slightest indication that a shadow gate opened there. The torrid winds sweep across the landscape with increasing ferocity, forcing you to protect your eyes from the gusts of sharp, stinging sand. The need to find cover takes priority when you sense that the winds are merely the prelude of a storm. To remain here in the open could prove a fatal mistake. Peering through your fingers, you try to find somewhere to take shelter. To your left, in the middle distance, you can see what appears to be a mound of volcanic stone slab. To your right, but further away, you notice a shallow gully running lead to the wind. Do we take shelter behind the mound of stone or shelter in the gully? Now, the Dark Lord essentially knocked us into this interdimensional portal alongside the Lorestones. Like, we're kinda just messed up no matter what. Like, the Lorestone are here in this world, we just gotta find them. Alright, stones are better for shelter. I mean, the stones could crush us, but so far, this is the only vote we've got. Alright, so far stones are winning. I'll wait just a little bit to see if anyone wants to cast a vote for something other than the stone. Oh, alright, a vote for the goalie. And maybe another vote for the goalie? Alright, let's go to the goalie. The wind tears at your clothing as you fight your way slowly toward the distant gully. Your feet sink deep into the hot, shifting sand, transforming the simple act of walking into a hard and painful exertion. After what seems like an eternity, you finally near your goal. You drop to your knees and crawl the few remaining yards toward the shelter of the shallow, rock-strewn trench. Gasping for breath, you bury your head inside your tunic to avoid inhaling a lungful of the sand-choked air, and gradually your pulse steadies and your strength returns. You wait for the storm to subside, but as if in defiance of your wish, the wind grew even stronger, whipping the sands into huge cyclones which suck countless tons of debris into their deadly spinning cores. Fear returned to freeze your heart when the shadow of a raging whirlwind fell across the gully. In blind desperation, you crawl toward a narrow fissure at the far end of the trench, praying that it is the entrance to a cave. This time your prayers are answered. The fissure marks the beginning of a shaft that descends deep into the volcanic rock. But as you draw closer, your hope for a safe shelter are dampened by a gruesome sight. Strewn around the entrance to the fissure are the bleached and shattered bone of what was once a formidable creature. Nervously, you reach for a weapon as you approach the narrow gap and peer into its lightless depth. A strange smell, sweet and unwholesome, wafts out of the inky blackness and stops you dead in your tracks. But the deafening roar of the approaching tornado makes you swallow your fear and enter. Cautiously, you descend into the dark, your weapon held poised to counter a sudden attack. Alright, we have a Calt Fire Sphere, a lantern, a torch, and a tinderbox. Alright, let's see, do we even have that yet? Yep, we do have a Fire Sphere, so okay, let's use it. Okay, at the very least, we almost got all of our endurance point back. Your light washes over the rough red walls and illuminates a narrow corridor formed by a violent rending of the land. Warily you descend, taking care to avoid the deep potholes which riddle the uneven floor, and at length you emerge into a cramped, hairless cavern. At that moment, a cacophony of noise surges along the fissure, and the floor shudders and heaves beneath your feet. Then a great blast of dust and debris knocks you off balance as it is sucked out of the cavern by the whirlwind now raging directly above. The turmoil soon subsides, but as you drag yourself to your feet, you notice that you're not alone. A low croaking growl issues from the far side of the cavern, and suddenly two slits appear, from which a baleful orange light radiates. With bated breath you watch a shape emerge from the shadows, a long scaly form with short legs and a lizard-like head. The outline of its body, perfectly camouflaged against the red volcanic rock, pulses like a heartbeat as it awakens from its slumber. It swivels its horny head and fixes you with an alien gaze, its snake-like eyes glittering with malice. Do we have animal control? No, we don't. The lizard beast yawns, exposing a wickedly curved beak and a jaw set with dagger-sharp fangs. It snickers evilly, relishing the thought of killing and devouring you at its leisure. Alright, if you have possessed a bow and wish to use it, so do we use our bow? Warning, we only have 2 arrows left though. So do we use the bow or do we not? Alright, let's play music with our bow. Alright, so far everyone is for bow action. I mean, I cannot say that I dislike the idea. Swiftly you draw an arrow and take aim at one of the creature's eyes, but instinctively it senses danger and twists its head furiously from side to side to spoil your shot. Alright, pick a number from the random number table. If you have the Magnamund discipline of weapon mastery, be sure to add the appropriate bonus. Our bonus right now is +5. +3 because we have mastered the bow, and +2 because we have reached the Mentoro rank with our Magna disciplines. 3 + 5 = 8. Ow. We barely miss. You release the taut bowstring and send your arrow streaking toward the Ember Eye, but it misses its intended target by a handbreadth and ricochet harmlessly off the creature's stone hard scales. The creature emits a loud gurgling croak as it hedges forward, forcing you to drop your bow and draw a hand weapon in readiness to receive its attack. Alright, Kuzindo! Combat skill 32, endurance 48. Yep. Some heroes welcome into this place. Oh boy. So, okay, at that point, if we use Psi... Okay. What is the combat skill? 32. I mean, if we use Mind Blast, we still get a combat ratio of 7. So I'd say we're not in bad hands here. Yep, it's a tanky guy, but we're also a lanky guy. Alright, let's fight. Okay, 7, 6. The enemy takes 11 damage, and we take 1 HP of damage. 3, 9 damage to the enemy, 2 damage to us. Now, what about round 3? Fuck. 1. The enemy takes 7 damage, we take 4 damage. Okay, 3, 9 damage to the enemy, 2 damage to us. and we are doing really shitty rolls on this first fight. Okay, 4, 10 damage to the enemy, 2 damage to us. I mean, he's gonna do it for sure. The problem is, of course, oh boy, we're not doing super great. Alright, the enemy dies. And we're left with 20 HP. Alright. Ah, whoops. That's not the thing that I wanted. Okay. Slowly, the slain Kozinda falls to the cavern floor, its broad tail twitching spasmodically. When finally it comes to rest, you approach the carcass and examine more closely this creature of the Daziarn. Although the shape of its body appears reptilian, its scales are quite unlike those of any lizard you've seen before. They are thin yet incredibly hard and seem to be formed from a substance more akin to glass than skin or bone. You ponder the origin of this curious beast until eventually the fatigue of your ordeal catches up with you. Alright, you must now eat a meal. I mean, we might as well empty the meal from our backpack before we finally just let our discipline do the rest of the job. Unable to resist any longer, you close your eye and drift into a deep and dreamless sleep. You wake with a start, stirred to consciousness by the distant flap of large wings beating in the windless sky. The sounds grow louder and quickly you gather up your equipment and hurry out of the cavern to investigate their source. The storm died down while you slept and the plateau is now becalmed. From the rim of the gully you can see 6 black shapes silhouetted on the blazing horizon. They resemble dragons with snaky necks and ragged bat-like wings. Upon their backs, they carry gold-skinned creatures, human in appearance save for their lack of hair and their massive size. The leader sees you. He banks his dragon mount toward the gully and the others follow closely in his wake. You fear they're about to attack, but at the last moment they veer away and circle the gully before landing nearby. With practice ease, the leader and 2 of his brothers dismount from their winged steed. They each dwarf you by an arm's length, and although their heavy muscular bodies seem incapable of stealth, they approach like lions stalking their prey. Zur Klokanra, speaks the leader, his voice deep and resonant. Rila Nurna, says another impatiently. Alright, do we have petmanship? Yes we do, and we've reached the rank of Sion Kai. Your much improved Kai skill enables you to understand the language that these beings are speaking. They want to know why you're trespassing on their hunting ground and how you came to be here alone and without any mean of transportation. You sense that they speak not in their native tongue, but in a language they assume to be yours. So, do we tell them that we arrived from the world of Magnamund and we arrived here after falling through a shadow gate, or do we ignore their questions and remain silent? Alright, tell them, blather around. Let's be honest. Alright, okay, let's blather. Having listened to your explanation, the giants react with skepticism, but despite their doubts, they are clearly fascinated by your appearance and the sound of your voice. We are the Yokor, says the leader proudly. We are the lords of Yanis, the Shining City, and masters of the Abaxial of Xenos. Come, we will take you to our realm, where you may tell your strange story to the beholder. He will divine its worth. He beckons you to approach his dragon mount and you step forward. The thought of being left marooned in this wilderness is all you need to persuade you to obey his command. With a mighty screech, the dragon mounts take to the air in unison, the beat of their great wings filling your ears with a thunderous drumming noise. Your stomach heaves as the leader tugs at the reins, sending the beast laboring steeply into the fire-orange sky. The ground below falls away at an alarming rate, and within minutes you are traveling hundreds of feet above the plateau, your vision blurred by the speed of the rushing wind. Beneath you, the trackless waste stretches away to the burning horizon. Without sun or moon, or any change in the brightness of the sky, you find it impossible to gauge the passage of time. Twice you lapse into sleep, for how long you cannot guess. Yet each time you wake, the arrow-shaped flight formation of the dragon mounts remain unchanged, and the Yoakor themselves show not the slightest sign of fatigue. At length, the featureless ways give way to thick, violet-colored grassland dotted with scab-like patches of marsh and bog. The air becomes humid, and the faint smell of rotting vegetation conjures up memories of time spent in the Gnaag. Gradually, the lowlands rise, and you soar above high valleys and rock-strewn meadows, broken hills, and weather-worn crags. As you approach a narrow cleft between two mountainous peaks, the leader raises his hand. Upon this signal, the other close into single file. An immense crater lies beyond the pass, and at its heart stands a city. The most beautiful city you have ever seen. The shining city of Yanis lies before you, rising in circular levels around the turreted citadel of sparkling crystal which dominates the vast alien metropolis. Constructed out of sheeted platinum, silver, glass, and mirrored steel, it reflects the light in 1,000 colors from its wall, windows, and huge conical towers, giving it the appearance and splendor of a glowing sun. As the dragon mount glides over the outer walls, you feast your eyes upon a network of broad avenues lined with fragrant, tree-like plants, square with fountains, and huge bell-shaped dwellings. Yeah, there we go. That's where we currently are, and here's Yanis. Directly ahead stand the citadel. The leader signals once more, and together the Yoakor land their winged steed upon a glassy platform adjacent to one of the citadel's 5 circular watchtowers. There you are met by Yoakor guards, resplendent in armor of burnished silver, who attend to the dragon mounts with dutiful efficiency. Their leader helps you dismount before dismissing his company and escorting you to a room in the watchtower. "You will rest here," he says, using only his mind. "I shall take word to the beholder, and he shall speak with you. Refresh yourself and sleep, if you wish." He motions toward an adjoining room and then turns and leaves, the door closing behind him, seemingly of its own accord. So, do we investigate the adjoining room? Do we attempt to escape from the watchtower? Or do we just remain in this room? Okay, check out the room. Okay, let's check out the room. Okay, alright, let's check it out. Warily you enter the room, noting that in spite of a lack of windows and torches, it is bathed in a warm amber light. The opalescent glow pours from the wall themselves, illuminating a table set with colorful food and a huge cushioned divan standing beside it. The oversized Yoakor furniture makes you feel like a small child exploring a dinner chamber for adults, but your hunger soon quells your unease and entices you toward the table. You're very hungry after your long flight to Yanis, and you must now eat a meal or lose 3 endurance points. Okay, alright, we have curing. Your Kai senses tells you that the food is untainted. You cannot identify any of the meats, vegetables, or fruit, but you sense that they are especially nutritious. Alright, do we try out the alien food or do we eat a meal from our backpack? I mean, we've got the goods that it's not poisoned. Alright, broaden your horizon. The food has a taste and texture completely unlike anything you've tried before. Yet it is delicious, and after having eaten your fill, you feel thoroughly refreshed and fortified. Restore 3 endurance points. There is enough food remaining for 1 meal. If you want to keep this one, note on your action chart, meal plus 3 endurance point. The food will restore 3 endurance point whenever eaten. Alright. You return to the first room and peer out of a tall window that looks out over the city. Far below, you can see the Yokor crowding an avenue which leads to an outer level of Yanis. They move with such purposefulness that from this great height, they resemble a vast community of worker ants. For several hours, you stare down at the beautiful alien city and its industrious citizens while you try and make sense of your situation. Eventually, you resolve to find out all that you can from the one the leader called the Beholder. Perhaps he will be able to help you locate the Lorestone and find a way back to Magnamund. At length, you settle down to sleep. Yeah, we don't need meals at all with our new skill, but hey, if we want to eat this meal, then hey, so be it. A strong hand on your shoulder shakes you roughly from your sleep. The Beholder requests your company, says the Yokor leader, stepping back and motioning you to rise. You must come with me. Together with 6 attendant guards, the leader escorts you from the watchtower, across an open courtyard paved with polished steel, and into the entrance hall of the Crystal Citadel. There, a superb spiral staircase forms the central core of this stronghold, carved from a solid mountainous chunk of a sky blue mineral unfamiliar to you. The stairs soar upward toward the turreted roof where the chamber of the Beholder is situated. With ease, the Yokor ascend and you struggle to keep pace. You count over 300 steps before the staircase opens up to a silent hallway where a massive door, solid ebony inlaid with gold, fills an entire wall. A bell is rung, and while you catch your breath and wait for the massive door to open, you speculate on who the Beholder could be. You imagine him as a Yokor warrior king, tall and strong, with wisdom and intelligence beyond mortal reckoning. With this image in mind, you feel optimistic that he will aid your quest. However, when the black door finally swings open, your hopes are dashed. The sight of him shocks you to the core. Cradled in the muscular arm of a Yokor guard lies the loathsome, stunted form of the Beholder. His withered corpse green body is no bigger than a human child, yet his bulbous head is enormous by comparison, far larger even than of the giant who is holding him. It wobbles and sways repulsively when it turns to focus his eyes on you. Like polished gemstones, these 2 blank orbs glint in the flickering light of the chamber, their cold sharpness revealing the intelligent being that lies imprisoned within the crippled shell. Yep, there he is, the Beholder. It's a giant brain.
Do not be not afraid of me, human,
He says, using a language similar to your native tongue.
I mean you no harm. My shape may not find favor with those of your species, but here in the Daziarn, you must be prepared to disregard appearances if you are to discern the truth.
With a languid blink, he dismisses the Yokor leader and his guards and watches like a doting father as they descend the spiral staircase. Alright, we have divination. You focus your Kai skill on the Beholder and try to fathom if his intentions are for good or ill. You sense he possesses immense powers, both physical and psychic, which radiate from his body like the rays of an invisible sun. You concentrate on this power, but all you can discern is that he's capable of using it to further both good and evil.
Come, let me show you some of the wonders of my realm,
says the beholder, as the great black door swings slowly shut.
It is so rare that I am able to entertain a guest. I will deem it an honor if you will accept my invitation.
With the only exit from the chamber now sealed off, you have no option but to accept, yet his politeness makes you feel uneasy. You are his prisoner, yet he speaks to you as if you were free to leave at any time. You walk beside the beholder along a corridor which leads to a vast circular gallery. At its center stands a towering, bell-shaped vessel made out of transparent, glass-like material and filled with a huge seething ball of fire. Its brilliant light illuminates some strange equipment standing against the wall and cluttering the table, but little of its heat radiates into the room. You pass on until you come to another gallery which is floored with shining steel like a gigantic mirror. The dome roof is lost in the dim shadows, but at its center you notice a tiny disc-shaped portal. The beholder glances at a row of crystals embedded in the wall, and they glow in response to his psychic command.
I am called the Beholder,
he says, his thin voice echoing loudly in the emptiness of the dome.
I observe all that transpires in the Daziarn. I saw your arrival upon the Zamin Plateau, and I know from whence you came. So few of your kind survive transference that I abandon all hope of meeting you. Indeed, had you not met with one of my hunting parties, your bone will now lie bleaching upon the sand of the arid plain. It seems that you are, by nature, a survivor.
Suddenly, a swirling column of light appears, projected from the disc in the center of the dome. It casts a pool of brilliance in the middle of the gallery and gradually widens until it encompasses the whole floor.
Come, observe, and perhaps you will learn the nature of your new world, for you will need to adapt if you are to survive here for the rest of your life.
The swirling light draws into focus upon the mirrored floor, and you find yourself surrounded by a spectacular cosmic image. At the center spins a shadow as dark as deep space, populated with suns and stars and the myriad planets that revolve around them. This microscopic universe is in turn surrounded by a ring of total darkness, and beyond that radiates four beams of different color, like the spokes of a gigantic wheel. Between these beams are many areas of light and shade, some running parallel and some in isolation, but all of them connected by a pale, shimmering mist.
What you see before you is a tableau of our world, a light painting that depicts the universe of Haon and the Daziarn plane,
says the beholder, as his servant carries him to the dark center of the floor.
Here, among the suns and stars of Haon, is the planet you know as Magnamund, and beyond it lies the Shadow Gate through which you fell into the Daziarn.
Slowly the Yoakor moves toward you, bearing his master with care as he continues his monologue proudly.
And here, balanced between the elemental stronghold of fire and water, lies the Abaxial of Sinos. This is my realm. I have chosen to live here, to shape it as I wish, and to populate it with beings who embody my ideals.
Oh, yep, hold on, I need the bigger one for this. Yep, what you see before you is a tableau of our world, the universe of Aeon and the Daziarn plane. Yep, we are here, and over here is a shitload of other crap. It's like, yeah, the Daziarn is indeed kind of weird. Coldly, the beholder stares into your eyes, and you feel your body stiffen as he probes deep into your mind. Alright, we got side screen. The unexpected speed and intensity of the beholder's psychic intrusion leaves you fumbling for defense. You draw on your psychic reserve and manage to erect a thought wall to protect your nervous system, but it is too late to prevent the beholder from scanning your mind. Lose 1 endurance point. Then, with a blink of his eyes, he ceases his psychic probing and a smile spreads slowly across his withered grey face.
I perceive much in your character that pleases me, human. You possess healer strength, honor, and a fiery courage uncommon among the mortals of Aon. Were it not for those traits, I would have no hesitation in ridding myself of you, for I will not tolerate the weak and untrustworthy in my realm.
He pauses for a moment and gazes fixedly at the shape swirling near the center of the room.
I have looked into your mind, and the reasons why you are here in the Daziarn are now known to me. The quests and struggles of Magnamund are of no significance to the Shining City, but there are those of this world who will rejoice to learn that the last of the Kai is here, if only to seek you out and destroy you. For this reason, you must leave Yanis, but I shall not send you away without guidance, for you have my respect, and I shall help you all I can.
Right at that point, we need to get our endurance point back. The beholder deactivates the light picture and wills his servant to carry him back to the first gallery. There, bathed in the shadowless glow of the fireball, stands a huge globe of silvery metal. At his approach, it radiates an eerie phosphorescent light and symbols appear upon its surface.
The Lorestones entered the Shadow Gate some moments before you fell. Is that not so?
Asks the beholder incisively. You confirm this to be the case and watch with fascination as the symbols shift and change colors.
There are many channels within the Shadow Gate that are warped by the vagaries of time and space. Usually it is an impossible task to predict where an object passing through to the Daziarn will materialize, but the coordinates of your arrival are known, and this will help my calculations.
Slowly the symbols begin to disappear until just 3 remains.
Without knowing the precise hour and time they entered the Shadow Gate, I can find only an approximate location,
He says, scrutinizing the symbols.
As reckoned by the time scale of your planet, the Lorestones arrived on the Daziarn 41 hours ago. They materialized together and intact in the forest of the Catrizek of Vozada, a realm situated between the elemental strongholds of earth and water. This bodes well for you, human. Vozada is a temperate and stable domain, rich in those elements necessary to sustain mortal life forms. Also, there is one of great vision who has made this her home. Her name is Soroka. It would be wise to seek her help in finding these stones of power, for she is sure to know their whereabouts.
Although his words revive your flagging hopes, you're still fearful that the Lorestones are beyond your recovery. The beholder senses your apprehension and tries to allay your fears by offering you a means of transportation to the realm of Vosada. He promises that your passage will be swift, but when you learn what the journey entails, your blood runs cold.
This device,
Says the beholder, pointing with pride at the huge fiery vessel that dominates the gallery.
is a dimension door. It will enable you to pass directly into the realm of Vozada through a rent in the fabric of the Daziarn.
You stare in awe at the sun-like ball trapped within the vessel and try to comprehend the secret sorceries that enable such a thing to exist.
You will come to learn that the laws which govern my world are quite unlike those which shape Aon. Here, time and space can be manipulated by those with power enough to craft them to their needs,
He says, in answer to your thoughts. He wills his servant to carry him to another globe which stands close by. There, he manipulates a bank of crystals and gradually a swirling circular gray shadow forms on the glassy surface of the vessel. It shimmers and you find that you cannot fully focus your eyes on it.
Step forward and enter.
Commands the beholder.
The door to Vozada is open.
Your skin prickles and your stomach churns, but you fight to control your fear by relying solely on your Kai skills. You sense that the Beholder is speaking the truth. The Great Portal does lead to the realm of Vozada, and so with great trepidation, you bid him farewell and step in the void. At the very moment you enter the dimension door, a sensation of incredible speed assails you. A twirling spiral of light unfolds before your eyes and you hurtle toward its core, borne along in an envelope of grey cloud. You close your eyes, but the light penetrates your eyelid, growing ever brighter. It fills your head with a madness of color and forces a silent scream of anguish from your lips. Lose 3 endurance points. A sudden lack of air leaves you gasping for breath, but it passes in an instant, and when you blink open your eyes, you discover that your journey is complete. You have arrived in Vozada. Wait, did I get the extra point? No, okay, alright. From the brow of a grassy hill, you stare across a strange yet familiar landscape. Before you lies an expanse of verdant grassland with clumps of woodlands and several winding streams. The warm air smells fresh and clean, and the distant sound of bird song is carried to you in the gentle breeze. Were it not for the grey, sunless skies above, it would be easy to believe that you had been returned to your home world. A sudden wave of homesickness makes you feel heavy-hearted, but you refuse to allow it to weaken your resolve. Instead, you scan the horizon in the hope of discovering some form of habitation. On to mastery! At long last, we got that! Using your Kai skill, you focus your telescopic vision on the far horizon and see a group of shapes that resemble small pyramids of stone. However, you're too far away to be able to tell if the structures are inhabited. A nearby stream meanders in the direction of the distant shape, and you decide to follow its course, in the hope that it will lead you to them. The stream wends its way sluggishly through a mossy glen to a thicket of red leaves tree which stand in a semicircle around a pale grey metallic monolith. Do we investigate the strange monolith or do we avoid it? Alright, do we do a 2001 Space Odyssey or we say no? Yeah, always check out weird things. Alright, is there anybody who will be possibly scared by the monolith? I mean, monolith made blood. Alright, let's check it out. The base of the monolith is overgrown with weeds and wildflowers, indicating that it has stood there for some considerable time. Yet its metallic surface bears no obvious sign of weathering. It is tipped with a transparent spike, which resembles a short glass spear. You can hear a faint humming sound when you place your ear to its mirror-smooth spire. The sound seems to originate somewhere deep below the ground. Alright, we have Patman's ship with the rank of tutelary, yes we do. Your Kai skill alerts you to the possibility of an ambush. A group of hostile creatures are approaching the thicket, drawn by the sound of an alarm inaudible to human ears, which you set off by touching the monolith. Whoops. So, do we evade the creatures or do we stay here and confront them? Alright, evade. Yeah, no fighting. Okay, evade, evasive action. Okay, alright, let's evade. Quickly you try to retrace your route to the stream, but you soon come to an abrupt halt. A group of hairy, squat-limbed creatures is moving through the undergrowth toward you. They are armed with crude spears which they carry at the ready, like hunters stalking their prey. Okay, do we have a bow in which to use it? Do we take cover in the undergrowth and wait for them to pass, or do we avoid them by returning to the monolith? So, bow, cover, or avoid? Okay, take cover in the undergrowth. Alright, let's take cover. You hide beneath the leafy canopy of a flowering bush and wait in silence for the creature to pass. Through a chink in the leaves you watch as two of them approach, sniffing the air with their ape-like noses, as if they were trying to detect your scent. Do we have invisibility? Nope. Alright, take a number from the random number table. 9. Alright, the creatures latch onto your scent and emit a strange, high-pitched twittering sound which alerts the others to your hiding place. You leap to your feet, unsheathing a hand weapon, but before you have a chance to evade them, they surround you and attack. Yep, sadly we stink. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay, so now 21 combat skill. Okay, that leaves us with a perfect combat ratio. 45 endurance point. Okay, alright. That should hopefully be an easy one. Like, we don't even need to use Mind Blast to be perfect. Okay. 3. 11 damage to the enemy, and 2 damage to us. Okay, alright, enemy is instantly killed. Good job, everyone. Alright, let's bring back the book. Quickly you search the bodies of your vanquished enemies. You discover the following items which could be useful. Alright, 6 spears, 2 swords, an axe, 3 meals, and a conch shell. I mean, we don't really have a use for the meal, but I'd say let's bring the conch shell. I mean, it's not as if we have anything better to bring along. Unless that people really want us to bring the 3 meals, I mean, okay. I mean, let's just litter or backpack with junk at this point. There we go. 6 meals that we're never gonna need. Alright, let's continue. You are eager to put a good distance between yourself and the monolith, so you decide to run beside the stream for as long as your legs will allow. Time passes rapidly, although the terrain changes very little until you reach a line of low hills, spread out before you like a sleeping colossus. Here, a path ascends from the bank of the stream to the crest of the hill and you follow it. On reaching the crest, you stare down at a remarkable and daunting sight. Now, we don't need to eat anymore because we've got Hunt Mastery. Hunt Mastery gives us the ability to never starve. Like, we can just gather and scavenge food wherever we are, even if it's in the middle of a fuckhole without any regular food or anything. A walled city of low pyramid-shaped dwelling lies spread along the center of a narrow wooded valley. Near the middle, rising high above the other buildings, stand the citadel, its color identical to the drab gray of the sky. Admiringly, you observe the intricate carvings which adorn its surface, but your enthusiasm is soon dampened when you see that the streets are teeming with the creatures you encountered at the monolith. You turn to leave, but a strange compulsion draws your eyes back to the citadel. It is your Kai's sixth sense, and it is telling you that Sirocco, the one who can aid you in your search for the Lorestones, resides here in this tower of stone. The path leads down to an open gate in the city wall where two of its ape-like inhabitants stand guard. Do we approach the city gate or do we search for an unguarded entrance to the city? Alright, a good feeling about approaching the gate. Guess that Blargianus Monk wants us to find an open entrance. Let's not just walk up to the strange place this time. I mean, we're walking toward a strange place no matter what option we pick here. It's just, hey, do we talk to the monsters of weird thing that we ended up massacring earlier, or do we try to avoid them? Alright, I'll say I'm gonna... Alright, look for another entrance. You hurry toward the woods that line the valley, hoping the trees will hide you from the watchful eyes of the guard as you skirt the city wall. But your presence has already been noted by a lookout station high in the Great Tower, who saw you standing at the top of the hill. He has sent word to the gate guards to prepare a special patrol. 5 chariots driven by a score of Wukor guards charge out of the city and come thundering across the grassland toward you. Alright, 5 chariots drawn by fearsome beasts that are only a little like horses charge out of the city and come thundering across the grassland. Your first reaction is to run for the forest, but the chariots are moving at a terrific pace and you know they could ride you down before you reach the trees. The riders whoop with glee as they spread out to encircle you. Alright, if we have a bow and wish to use it, do we unsheath a hand weapon and defend ourselves, or do we just surrender? I mean, yeah, these horses definitely look badass. It's horses that are being driven, that are currently driving a bunch of mutant tapes. Alright, 1 vote for surrendering. Alright, never surrender. I'd say that probably mean unsheath a hand weapon. Okay, 1 vote for everything so far. At that point, we'll need a tiebreaker. Yeah, we're good at the bow. Alright, let's use it. You manage to fell 3 charioteers before you are trampled and crushed to death beneath the flailing hoof and heavy wheels of the following Hooker chariot team. Tragically, your life and your quest end here at the city of Tas. Bow, 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 bow. Well then, maybe you should have bowed out of surrendering. Alright, so now it's time for a second opinion. Do we unsheath a hand weapon and defend ourselves, or do we surrender? Also, how do you get these Lone Wolf books online? Project Aeon. That's the name of the website. They are authorized. They are authorized to diffuse any and all Lone Wolf content out there, except like me. No, Aeon. Hold on, I'm gonna write it down in the chat. Yep, this way. Alright, let's use a hand weapon. You draw your weapon and stand poised to strike down any who will dare come within range. The chariot screech to a halt and a score of Wukor guards leap from the riding platform. They come scurrying toward you, their glass-tipped spears thrust before them. Their leader motions to you to sheath your weapon or face the consequences. You ignore his signals and get ready to attack him. Then you see more chariots emerge from the city to reinforce the patrol. With the odds stacked so heavily in their favor, reluctantly you decide to raise your hands and allow these 8 men to march you in their city under heavy guard. In a frenzy of excitement, the citizens of Tas press forward on all sides, pawing, prodding, and staring slack-jawed as you are brought along the main street, which leads directly to the Great Tower. Your escort are hard-pressed to keep the crowd at bay, and by the time you reach the tower door, your clothes are disheveled and you're scratched and bruised. Lose 2 endurance points. That's the ransom of glory. With a loud, grating rumble, the stone door moves inward and you're given into the charge of 3 bronze-clad Ukor wardens. They usher you up a winding stair to a bare chamber, floored and walled with smooth stone slab. Silently, a section of the drab wall moves aside and silhouetted in the opening stands the tall, fill-in shape of a remarkable creature. "I am Siroka," she purrs hypnotically, "and I bid you welcome, Lone Wolf. Come, enter my chamber so that we may discuss your reasons for journeying so far to seek my help." Alright, we have size screen with the rank of tutelary. Alright, first of all, let's get our HP back. I'm just gonna randomly guess that we're gonna get another HP after that. You sense that Siroka is imprisoned in a cage of psychic energy which surrounds her chamber and prevents her from passing through the opening. This energy is extremely powerful and has been synchronized to react to her brainwaves alone. To enter the chamber will cause you no injury, but if she ever attempted to pass through the invisible wall, the resulting release of force will be enough to destroy both her and the entire city of Tas. Cautiously, you pass through the opening and follow Siroka into a tall, domed chamber that is supported by a circle of huge, rose-veined marble pillars. At its center stands a large table, and from the ceiling, directly above, a flood of light pours down, reflecting and refracting upon its crystal mosaic surface and bathing the chamber wall in spectral colors. She bids you take a seat at the table, and as she lowers herself elegantly into a seat opposite, you cannot but admire her beauty. Her face has the fill-in characteristic of a young lioness, yet her eyes and her youthful body are distinctly human, save from the soft, velvety nap which covers her flesh. She bears an aura that is powerful and confident, and yet at the same time she seems vulnerable and sad. Yep, there we go, Catwoman. "How do you know my name?" you ask, slightly unnerved by the familiar way in which she welcomed you to her chamber. "There is much I know about you," she replies, voraciously, and at once you sense that you are in the presence of a godlike being. Your land and your fight against the forces of darkness who threaten to conquer it are but a part of the struggle which rages through the plane of existence. Oh. Thank you, Fruit Salad Kung Fu, for the bit. Thank you very much. Yet it is your world and your fight that have become the focus of this conflict between the powers of good and evil. She pauses, and then staring deeply into your eyes, she continues. Upon you depends the future of us all. Stunned by the enormity of what she has said, you shake your head in open-mouthed silence. No! How can this be? You breathe incredulously. There are those who seek to shape destiny and those upon whom destiny falls. Destiny has chosen you, Lone Wolf, and you cannot refuse it, for it will force itself upon you. But how have I become the focus of such a struggle? You reply. We are all a part of it, she says. The worlds of Aeon and the Daziarn are shaped by the action of those who exist there. Yet the time has now come where the action of one individual will shape the futures of both worlds. You are that individual lone wolf, and your actions are destined to shape the future of every living being. But what if I refuse? You say nervously. What then will happen to the future? You cannot refuse, she says softly, for everything you do is bound up with your destiny. Your vow to complete the Magna quest and restore the Kai. Will you give that up? Will you forsake your country and its future security? Oh, whoops, that's right. I didn't even turn my scent on. Whoops. I don't know what Nutbrush city limits are, but hey, I guess I'll try what it sounds like in my ears. Yeah. By your very nature, because of your honor and your courage, you will act out your part. One moment, my scent is still booting up, my bad. Oh, I can turn her. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know that at all. But let me try it. Oh, whoops, that's not a piano. Hey there, welcome to Nutbush City Limit. It's where we go and eat our nut. We love the nuts in Nutbush. Alright. So what then must I do, you ask? You must do what you have always done. You must listen to the words of those who will help you, and you must let your skills and instinct be your guide. She leans forward and sweeps her hand slowly across the surface of the table. The light dims and pattern takes shape among the tiny squares of crystal. Observe and learn, she says, for the images will impart knowledge that will aid your quest for the Lorestones of your ancestor. Also, no, that's demo scene music, which is playing. The flickering pattern drawn to focus, and you see before you a panoply of strange scenes, in the face of many unknown creatures, some human, some bestial, and some that defy description. Many of the events which have befallen your worlds are mirrored here in the Daziarn, says Soroka, as you watch with growing fascination the image of a battle taking place between men and beasts. We too are threatened by the forces of darkness. Many ages ago we triumphed over evil, but our victory was incomplete. Now our nemesis has come in the guise of the Chaos Master. I don't know, that's the theme song of the Chaos Master. Everywhere his seething corruptions encroach upon the goodly realm of the Daziarn, twisting and consuming all they touch. The vision of the battle fades and is replaced by a living map, similar to the light picture you were shown by the beholder of Yanis. Here are the realms that lie between the elemental strongholds of earth and water. Once this region was rich and populous with the creatures of light, but now it lies ravaged by the cancerous realm of paradox. Only Vozado and Melidor continue to resist. The others have either disappeared into the Neverness or been transformed into a desolate wasteland. Here, she says, pointing to the middle of the table, is the Gnaag forest, once the most fertile of the great timberlands. Now the scourge of chaos splits it asunder. And here, the plain of Guacor, the mightiest realm the Daziar has ever known, reduced to dust by a plague of fire-breathing Zenga. Tears well up in her eyes, and you sense that the vision of Guacor has stirred painful memories. Do we ask what troubled her, or do we choose to not intrude on her grief? Okay, any Super Metroid music? Okay. Okay. Nah. Okay, I can't play Brinstar. That was my attempt at Brinstar, but I couldn't do it. Alright, let's leave her be. Oh, fight! I'm gonna guess, hey, let's ask her. Alright, ask for more lore. Alright, let's go and intrude. It is the cruelty of the Chaos Master that saddens me so, she says in a whisper, as if fearing to be overheard. Before his coming, the plane of Guaco was ruled by a great warrior called Sine, whose only fault, it was said, was a surfeit of pride. He loved me and wished for the union of our realm, but Alice, his love was unrequited. The joining of Guaco and Vozado was not to be. To win my love and restore his injured pride, Sine struck a bargain with the Chaos Master, for in keeping with the paradoxical nature of that god, he is obliged to indulge in the granting of wishes to those who will dare demand them of him. The Chaos Master wove a spell to enchant me and Sine was granted his wish. I became enamored of him, but the bargains of the Chaos Master are in keeping with his nature. They are cruel and fickle. Upon the hour of our wedding, he appeared and demanded that Sine pay for his wish by setting him half his realm. He was refused, and in retribution, he imprisoned me here in this tower and wrought upon Sine such physical mutation that he fled Guacor and hid himself in shame. Do you know what became of him? You ask. Yes, she replies sadly. He is the ruler of a new realm. He has regained his power, but his body is forever a cruel reminder of his pact with the Chaos Master. He is the one who sent you to me. He is the beholder of Yanis. Seroka blinks away her tears and forces herself to concentrate on the matter at hand. Again, the image fades from the table and a new one takes its place. A picture of forested hill and steep-sided valleys. This is where the Lorestones emerge from the Shadow Gate, she says, her voice now calm and controlled. I detected their presence immediately, for the power they radiate is extraordinary. Where is this place, you ask? It is the Gnaag forest, close to the border with Melidor. I estimate that the Lorestones lie within a few hundred yards of Tolakos, the ancient burial grounds of the Melidorian, she replies, but with caution in her voice. Is this not good news? You ask, relieved to know at last where the objects of your quest are situated. Yes, it is, but for a struggle now taking place in the region. The Melidorian are locked in battle against the forces of the Chaos Master, who is determined to claim all of the Gnaag for himself. Tolakos is but a few leagues from where the fighting is fiercest. Then I must retrieve the Lorestone quickly, you say, rising from your seat in your eagerness to press on with your quest. Indeed you must, but it will benefit you not if you were to reclaim them and then be unable to return to your home world for the lack of knowing where to go. Be patient a little longer, Lone Wolf, and I shall show you where, in all this vast region of the Daziarn, you can find the one shadow gate that leads to Magnamund. The vision of the Gnaag forest dissolves and a new one takes its place. It is of a city, perched atop a rocky cliff, surrounded by a wall fortified with towers and grim bastion. Red flames glare from a row of tiny windows and its huge stone gate is emblazoned with the symbol of a fiery dragon. This is Hagadar, says Seroka, cheerlessly. Once it was the home of the Sandai, the ruler of the Great Plains that stretched to this very edge of the stronghold of Earth. They were the first to fall to chaos, and now the plains are a dead and empty wasteland of sterile rock and poisoned sand. Hagadar was claimed by the Chaos Master, and it became his abode. But as his foul empire expanded, he grew tired of it and abandoned it for other, less remote cities. It lay deserted for an age before outlaws and refugees from Guacor sought sanctuary there from the creatures of chaos. It is now a forgotten city, yet within its heart there lies a secret that even the Chaos Master failed to discover. The Sandai were the guardians of a shadow gate. Long had they kept hidden this portal while they searched for a mean to enter it, for unlike the shadow gate of your world, those of the Daziarn are closed. Only those who possess a key can pass from this realm into the universe of Aeon. Where is this key which allow entry to the Shadow Gate of Agadar? You ask, anxiously. Sirocco raises her eyes from the table and smiles. Power is the key, and the power is now within your grasp. The two Lorestones of Nyxator are the power. They are the key to your escape from the Daziarn. You must retrieve them from Tolekos in the Gnaag forest, and then go to Agadar. The Shadow Gate is to be found in the Temple of the Sendai at the center of the city. I can help you reach Tolekos, but beyond the Gnaag, my powers of vision grow dim. You must let your skills and this map be your guide there. Alright. We're gonna need a bigger screen. Like at that point, okay, we are here. We're supposed to go there, and then somehow we're supposed to go all the way there. Whew. From the pocket of her silken robe, she produces a map which she presses into your hand. Alright, mark this as a special item. Okay. That point, okay, black key. Do we throw away the black key? I doubt we're gonna have to use it somewhere else other than Torgar. So, yeah. Daziarn map. Okay, you unfurl this parchment and study its content, noting with dismay the great distance which separates the Gnaag forest from the city of Agadar. Come, you must rest before your journey to Tolekos. I shall arrange for my Hukor to take you there after you have slept and recovered your strength. Sirocco rises from her seat and bids you follow her to an adjoining room where there's food, a bath, and a comfortable bed. There she leaves you, returning to the table to consult its vision, while you try to relax despite the heavy sense of foreboding that haunts your mind. Alright, restore your endurance point to its starting total. Yep, we're already there. Seems as if you have only just closed your eyes when you've woken from your sleep by the sound of Sirocco's voice echoing in your mind. The time has come for you to begin your journey, Lone Wolf. Quickly you dress and gather together your equipment before joining her at the Table of Vision. I have chosen Tuktron, my most able and trusted Ukor captain, and in company of his best task guard to escort you to Tolekos. He is familiar with the forest tract of the Capturizek, and he will ensure that you do not lose your way. She brings forth a black box inlaid with sparkling gem and unlocks it with a star-shaped key, which she wears on a slender chain around her neck. Take this, Lone Wolf, and keep it safe, she says, handing you a pyramid-shaped obsidian seal. The war against the Chaos Master made the Melidorians suspicious of all save their own kind, and they are wont to attack anything they fear could be an agent of chaos. When you meet them, show them this seal and your safety will be assured. Alright. Mark the obsidian seal as a special item. If you already possess the maximum item, you must discard one. Oh boy, alright. So now, what do we throw away? It's like we're kind of running out of stuff. Like, we could throw away the fire seeds, the psychic ring, the fire sphere, the Kazanwood amulet, the map of the Daziarn, the dagger of Vashna, or the diamond. Yeah, the dagger is essentially a memento from our adventures in Book 4. It's like the dagger of Vashna is a weapon that essentially was to be used by the Dark Lords in order to bring back like the strongest Dark Lord to ever be. And if you remember, if you don't have the Summer Sword, you do get to use the Dagger of Vashna in Book 9. So it's not as if this weapon is entirely void of value. Oh yeah, that's right. What the heck? Wait, I thought that I already... I thought I already did all of this and the other stream. Yep, my apologies. I have fucked up in some way, shape, or form. What's happening to Shinryu right now? He's quick leaking, don't worry about him. At that point, yeah, let's say goodbye to the Kazanud amulet. I'd say we probably won't use it anymore, considering that Kazanud is just destroyed forever. Do not speak of your quest to anyone except their leader, Lorcan Ironheart. Seek him out. In him you can place your trust. While you slept, we communicated with our minds and he has vowed to help you find the Lorestones. Oh yeah, that's right. Also, we need to, we forgot to master one of our weapons too. Alright, let's just pretend we've hazed the short sword ever since. She puts down the black box and gracefully walks toward the narrow exit from her chamber. In the room beyond, you see a stocky old core clad in polished bronze armor, waiting patiently for you to appear. There is Tuktron, she says fondly. He will be your guide. The creature brings himself stiffly to attention and salutes you with pride. I am honored to have been chosen, he says, using a language that approximates to your own. You return his salute and bid your thanks and farewell to Seruka. You will succeed, she whispers as she kisses your cheek. You must succeed. You leave Seruka's chamber and follow Tuktron as he leads you out of the tower and along a busy street toward the city main square. 3 gleaming bronze chariots, each drawn by a team of strange horse-like creatures called Onipa, are ready and waiting to take you to Telekos. With the Ukor captain, you climb along the leading chariot and grab the handrail as its driver cracks the whip. The Onipa surge forward, and in a cloud of thick dust, the chariot race out of the city and along a stony road that cuts through the center of the valley beyond. 3 hours pass before you catch sight of a village on the road ahead. Tuktron grins and points repeatedly as his open mouth. You want to eat here? He says, shouting to make himself heard above the incessant rattling of the chariot wheel. Alright, do we stop at the Okor village for a meal, or do we press on without stopping? I mean, we can eat from our butts, but they can't. But hey, 1 vote for pressing on. Alright, I guess that's it. Alright, let's press on. The captain shrugs his hairy shoulders and motions to the driver not to stop. As you pass through the village, a group of Ukor children cheer and wave and toss flowers at the speeding chariot. One of the red blooms land in the crook of your arm. Alright, we have curing. You recognize the flower to be a hyena. Its red petals are especially effective in the treatment of battle wounds. Should you lose endurance point during a future combat, you will be able to restore 5 endurance points immediately afterward. They can only be used after combat. If you wish to keep the hyena, oh, alright. I mean, we're definitely gonna keep it. Alright, bye meal. You have not eaten today, and you must now eat a meal or lose 3 endurance points. Alright, let's... Might as well just go and empty your backpack slowly but surely. If you possess the Magnakai discipline of Hunt Mastery... Oh, you are unable on this occasion to use the skill in lieu of eating a meal from your backpack. Okay, that's weird. A few miles beyond the village, the road leaves the valley and crosses an open expanse of lush grassland. The hours roll by as you watch the passing landscape with increasing wonder as you try to comprehend how it can thrive beneath a sunless sky. Slowly the plain descends toward a wide river, sluggish with sediment and flanked by tall gray-green trees. A bridge spans the dark water and the road continues beyond toward a line of the hills. The bridge is built of stout timber, but as you draw closer to it, you sense that something is seriously amiss. Alright, we've got Hunt Mastery and we've reached a rank of Principal in. Alright, Telescopic Vision, go! By magnifying your vision, you are able to see that the middle of the bridge is damaged. Many of the planks have been torn up and strewn across the surface at random, crudely disguising the gaping hole. You scream a warning to Tuktron and he's able to halt the chariot just in time as they thunder toward the approach ramp. Do we have Patmanship with the rank of Tutelary? Yes. Your sense scream a warning that the trees harbor hidden enemies. They are lurking, ready to ambush anyone who attempts to cross the bridge. You tell Tuktron and immediately orders his guard to dismount and take cover behind their chariot while he and his driver go forward to examine the damaged bridge. Do we go with Tuktron or do we stay with his guard and defend the chariots? Alright, we're in defense. Oh, alright. 3 votes for going with Tuktron, and 1 in order to guard the chariots. Alright, go with Hairy Baboon. Okay. The 2 core scurry across the plank and you follow closely on their heel, running half-crouched to make use of the cover afforded by the parapet of the bridge. You reach the center of the bridge and are relieved to see that the damage is not beyond repair. Whoever did this wanted to delay, not destroy. Tuktron signals to his guard to come and lend a helping hand with the repair, but as soon as they leave the chariot, a shilling howl echoes from the nearby tree. Hakta! Moaned Tuktron, his voice a whisper of fear. Creatures of chaos! A shiver runs down your spine when you see them. Lumbering hordes of twisted shape lurch from the trees on either side of the bridge and stagger drunkenly toward the chariot. They appear to be neither animal nor human, but a ghastly fusion of the two. Not only 2 drivers remain with the Onipo team, and Tuktron is quick to see the danger. He commands the guard to return and leads them back across the bridge with his crystal sword held high. Do we follow Tuktron and help him defend the chariot? Do we stay where we are and attempt to repair the bridge? Or do we abandon the Ukor and escape across the bridge on foot? Alright, 1 vote to defend. Okay, help him. Alright, let's get fixing. Defend. Alright, 5 to 1. You reach your chariot just as the first wave of chaos creatures launch their attack. Raging viciously, they slaver in for the kill, fighting with fang and claw and yellow tusk. A screaming horror, its body striped with ochre line, leaps from the back of a startled Honipo and hurtles toward you with its crimson jaw gaping wide. You tense yourself in readiness to strike as its shadow falls upon your face. Alright. Creature is immune to Mind Blast but not Size Surge. Owing to the speed and ferocity of the attack, you can't evade or use the bow. Alright, whatever. It's not as if we've ever needed a bow. So, yeah, even with Psychic ability, we reach maximum combat skill. And we're almost matching this thing in terms of endurance point, too. Oh, goody. Alright. Time to fight the ugly creatures of chaos. 14 damage to the enemy, 1 damage to us. 9, the enemy is defeated instantly, with only 1 endurance point lost. You pull away from the dead Hector in time to avoid the murderous leap of a snarling, dog-sized creature with large, bear-like paws. It hits the ground, then leaps again and hangs on your arm, its clawed feet raking emptiness as it tries to rip your stomach. You strike a blow that opens a rag gash in its neck, but still it refuses to relinquish its grip and retaliate by sinking its fang into your wrist. You lose 3 endurance points, and here we go again. 25 versus 27, again with the maxed out combat skill. Okay, alright. Okay, and the enemy is instantly defeated. Okay, that was not even worth it to set up. Alright, so we won the combat in 3 rounds or less. Tucktron runs to your side, his face and crystal sword spattered with the black blood of his foe. Hurry! This fight lost! You go! Go now! Oh yeah, sorry. He snaps and points across the bridge to the hill beyond. A cursory glance confirms his grim statement. Only he and 2 of his guards remain standing, and 1 fights left-handed, his right arm swinging broken and useless by his side. The other, including all the Onipa, have been slain by the howling creatures of chaos. Reluctantly, you obey Tucktron's command and hurry across the bridge, while he and his brave Hukor guards fight to cover your escape. Not until you reach the first ridge of hill do you look back at the bridge, hoping to see Tucktron and his guards victorious. But your hope is in vain. All that remains alive at the bridge is a ghoulish grey horde of feasting Agta. Shocked by your encounter with the Acta, you make your way deeper into the hills, skirting the road in favor of the wooded slopes, which offer good cover. Yet you keep the road in sight constantly to ensure that you are heading toward Tolakos. Your usual good sense of direction is vague and distorted, for in this region of the Daziarn there is no sun, stars, or point of the compass by which to gauge your position. The hours pass uneventfully until you reach a place where the run rolled alongside a pool of crystal clear water, fed by a fast-flowing stream. 3 human-shaped warriors clad in armor are standing near the pool, scanning the wood, while their shaggy black equine mounts drink their fill. Alright, do we have divination or petmanship? Yes, we do. Your Kai senses reveal that the 3 warriors are Melidorian scouts. They've been sent by their leader, Lorco Ironheart, to meet you en route and escort you directly to his headquarters. Do we make our presence known to them, or do we approach under the cover of the trees? Oh, yeah, also thank you, Swarm. I completely forgot to even announce the stream. Whoops. Okay, make our presence known. We do not hide. Okay, alright, make our presence known. Stepping out from behind a tree, you wave and shout a greeting to the 3 Melidorian scouts. Instinctively, they dive for cover, fearing an ambush, and one loses a bolt from a crossbow-like device strapped to his arm. The bronze-tipped quarrel whistles toward your chest with unerring accuracy. Pick a number from the random number table. If we have Hunter Mastery, add 1 to this number for every discipline we've mastered after the first 3. Okay, so now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we had 5. Okay, 5 plus 5 equal 10. Your lightning reaction saved your life. You twist aside to avoid the deadly bolt and it passes within inches of your chest, thudding into a tree behind. Instantly you drop to your knees and crawl rapidly through the undergrowth, lest they fire again at the place where you stood. You stop when you reach the bushes that border the road, for opposite you can see the scout crouching nervously beside their mount. Alright, do we use divination in order to call to them telepathically? Do we shout who we are without revealing our position? Or do we emerge from the bushes with our hands above our head? Alright, shout her name, telepathy. Another vote for telepathy. Alright, never surrender telepathy. Alright. One of the scouts turns his head and answers your mind call out loud. Show yourself! He orders, much to the surprise of his two companions, who possess no psychic skills and did not hear your telepathic message. You emerge from the foliage, your hands held open and away from your body. The other two spin around to face you, raising their forearms in reflex action at your sudden appearance. Hold it! Snaps the telepath to his companion, who are both on the verge of firing their bow. He is the one! They seem unimpressed by his judgment and refuse to lower their bows until you suggest that one of them look in your pocket if it is proof of your identity they require. The scout removed the obsidian seal from your tunic pocket and studies it thoughtfully. Very well, he says, satisfied that you are the one that they have been detailed to escort. We will take you to Lorcan Ironheart. He pockets the obsidian seal. Okay, delete it. You ride pillion beneath the saddle, yet the creature's shaggy coat made for a comfortable seat as the steed gallops like a raced horse along the winding hill road. Huge tree trunks flash past, a blur of gray and brown, and the hills gradually recede until the forest rules supreme. The scouts leave the road and follow a smaller track which delves deep into this majestic timberland. They slow their pace, feeling safer now that they are back in familiar territory. And soon you arrive at a clearing. Hundreds of Melidorian soldiers are encamped here inside a perimeter wall of earth and logs. A cordon of sentries patrol the wall. They are alert and nervous. Their eyes scrutinizing every shadow. A wheel barricade of sawn timber protects the only entrance, and at your approach, it is pushed aside to allow you entry. A small log cabin is being built at the heart of the tented encampment, and the scouts bring their steed to a halt near its front door. Quickly, they dismount and usher you inside to meet their leader. Seated before you at a desk lit by tall candle, one set at each corner, are two pale-skinned Melidorian nobles. The flickering yellow flame glints on the fine antique workmanship on their armor and exaggerates the shadows that play on their faces as they argue their strategies for an impending battle. On seeing you enter, the conference is brought to an abrupt close. One of the officers bows and takes his leave, the other beckons a scout to approach the deck and make his report. Briefly, the scout tells of how they met you and what has become of your Hukor escort. He shows the officer the obsidian seal given to you by Seroka before leaving the city of Tas. The officer clasps the pyramidal stone in the palm of his head, then stares directly into your eyes. A tingle of surprise prickles your skin when you return his gaze, for you notice that his eyes are misty blue, without whites or any obvious pupil. Do we have Psi Screen? Yes. A wave of psychic energy rushes through your mind, washing across your thought, searching for some sign of hostile intent. You resist the intrusion and the wave quickly recedes. With a gesture of his hand, Lorcan Ironheart dismisses the scout and you're left alone in his company. So, you are the Aeonian for whom Mistress Seroka will have me postpone the war against chaos, he says sardonically, reaching for a decanter of ruby red wine. He fills 2 crystal goblets and offers one to you. Let us toast the success of your treasure hunt. he says, raising his glass on high. Like, even after his psychic scan, he doesn't even have, like, eyes or anything. It's like, ouch. Oops, okay. And to your triumph over chaos, you had diplomatically. He smiles as he sips the bitter vintage, and you regard each other with thoughtful curiosity. He has a youthful face, with high cheekbone, narrow jaw, and a thin, chiseled, aristocratic nose. Thank you, Pad Thai Assassin, for the bits. Thank you very much. His silver hair is a mass of silken threads flowing from beneath the rim of his ornate conical helmet to fan across his wide shoulders and thick vermilion cloak. But it is his eyes that fascinate you most, for they are filled with knowledge and ancient wisdom. He has no eyes! You talk at length about events which have brought you to the Gnaag forest in search of Lorcan's help, and in return he tells you of the dangers you may face at Tolakos. From a gold-capped leather tube, Lorcan produces a map of the Gnaag which details the location of his encampment, the burial grounds of Tolakos, and the last known position of the Chaos Master's horde. The scale is measured in leagues, but you are able to calculate that Tolakos lies only 10 miles from Lorcan's camp. A curvy red line has been drawn diagonally across the map to show where scouts last sighted the Chaos Master's troop, and this line passes dangerously close to the burial grounds. You must leave as soon as possible if you are to be sure of reaching Tolakos before it is claimed by the enemy, says Lorcan, pointing to the bold red line. This was drawn 3 hours ago. If the Chaos Master decides to advance, he is within 8 hours march of the burial ground. This means that in only the next 5 hours can you be sure to find Tolakos unoccupied. I intend to march my army forward and hold Tolakos, but I await reinforcements and I dare not move until they arrive. Therefore, I will provide you with a scout who knows the area well. He will guide you to your destination. The rest is up to you. Lorcan sends for the scout, a Meladorian called Odell. When he arrives, he suggests that you visit the equipment tent before setting off to the forest. Alright, do we check out what equipment they have available to us, or do we start our journey without delay? No, we didn't. Summer Sword is totally in our stuff. Alright, 1 vote for hurrying and 1 for checking out the stuff. Okay, we got the Summer Sword, we're good. Oh, stuff. Alright, we're back to a tie. Yeah, we got time. I mean, it's not as if rummaging through stuff will take hours. Alright. Luck be with you, Heonian, says Lorcan, as you turn to leave his cabin. Remember, I will be marching to Tolakos as soon as my reinforcements arrive. You thank him and bid him farewell before following Huddle the Scout as he wends his way through the busy encampment to the equipment tent. 2 grim-faced guards bar your entry, but when Odell tells them on whose authority you're here, they quickly lower their spears and allow you to pass. The tent is full of weapons and provision, and Hodel suggests that you take whatever you need. You may select the following. Alright, sword, spear, mace, dagger, 6 arrows. Alright, let's refill our quiver. Was about time. Apart from that, bow, quiver, a backpack in case that we lost one, I guess. Quarter staff, short sword. Alright. Odell replenishes a quiver of bolt that he carries on his hip and checks that the crossbow he wears strapped on his forearm is functioning properly. Satisfied, he folds away his hinged bow arm and then slips a brace of throwing knives into the top of his boot. Are you ready? He asks, as you finish adjusting your equipment. Yes, you reply confidently. Let's go. You leave the encampment by slipping over the perimeter wall and quickly merge like shadows into the thick forest beyond. The giant trunks support a canopy of dense foliage that blocks out most of the light and keeps the forest floor bathed in a perpetual twilight. A carpet of moss muffles your footfalls, and the only foliage that grows in abundance is a bushy velvet lichen pattern with orange-headed, tooth-sized growth. Alright, we have curing. You sense immediately that the tiny orange growth are poisonous Ketu spore pod. If swallowed, or if the spores are allowed to infect the bloodstream, the toxin can kill in a matter of minutes. Alright, so do you want to collect those and put them into our backpack? I mean, at that point, why not? Let's carry the death mushroom. The cool gloom of the Gnaag forest floor seemed to continue indefinitely. Then you arrive at a place where one of the massive trees have fallen and torn a gap in the canopy of leaves. There the gloom is brightened by a narrow column of light. "That's Balin's bow," whispers Odell, pointing at the decaying trunk. "Just another leg and we'll be at Tolakos." Alright, we have Patmanship. You feel the familiar chill of premonition as your Kai senses alert you to a tiny pair of eyes blinking in the gloom of the leafy canopy overhead. You sense that a hostile creature lurks there, waiting to fire at anything that comes within range of its lethal blowpipe. Alright, do we use our bow or not?
Rebel base, 3 minutes and closing.
Okay, alright, shoot. Okay, let's remove him. Let's remove an arrow. With consummate accuracy, you send an arrow whistling into the treetops. It ends its flight buried feather deep in the scaly abdomen of an Actus sniper. The beast gives a piercing shriek and tumbles to the ground, landing with a sickening thud near the base of Balin's bow. Odell praises your skill and rushes forward, half-crouched to search the chaos creature's body. Do we stay where we are and cover him with our bow, or do we follow him? Okay, alright, cover. You scan the surrounding tree, your eyes peel for the slightest hint of another enemy while Odell examines the dead Acto. He shakes his head, indicating that he has found nothing of interest and beckons you forward. Just as you begin to move, you catch sight of a grey shape scurrying away into the misty distance. Quickly, you draw an arrow and take aim, but the creature is no longer there. It has melted in the shadows. There is a moment of cold fear when you first set eyes on the burial ground of Tolakos. An eerie blue glow cast by a clump of bacterial fungi illuminates a mist that seeps from the tomb and crypts of this ancient necropolis. The swirling vapors contained by a wall which encircles a graveyard, although it is broken in many places where trees have displaced the moldering stonework. With a weapon at the ready, you follow Odell toward one such gap in the wall, which is overshadowed by a great mausoleum. "This is the vault of Cedron," whispers Odell as he clambers over the rubble and crouches beside its damp grey wall. "Old King Kalon sleeps there." He removes a throwing knife from his boot, and with its tip, he points to the other funeral landmark of Tolakos and identifies them one by one. "That's the crypt of Julier. Over there are the graves of the faithful, and there's Balon's tomb. The Chaos Master and his minion have kept us away from here for nearly a generation, but Lorcan is determined to wrest him for him and restore it to its past glory. Over here, near the center, is the Grand Sepulchre. That's where the bloodline of the Ironheart clan are laid to rest." You stare at this macabre building, and a powerful feeling electrifies your body. The sepulchre is an imposing sight, yet it is not the grim splendor of its design that exhilarates you. You are ablaze with the realization that somewhere here in the grand sepulchre of the Iron Hearts lie the last 2 Lorestones of Nyxator, the object of your quest. I must search that tomb, you say, staring fixedly at the huge door that dominates the sepulchre's blue-gray sculptured facade. Odell frowns and casts his eyes nervously at the surrounding mist. I cannot enter, he says. I am not of clan blood. If you choose to go through that door, you must go alone. You sense that nothing will... hold on, did I get my HP back? Okay, yeah. You sense that nothing will induce Odell to break his clan law, but you are anxious not to lose a valuable guide. When I enter the Grand Sepulchre, will you wait for me here? You ask, hoping you will agree. Silently considers your request. Yes, he says, without enthusiasm. But search swiftly. The creatures of chaos are close. I can feel it in my blood. You exchange stern smiles and hurry away through the knee-deep mist toward the great door. The portal is secured by a massive metallic lock, and engraved into its blackened surface is a quartered square. In 3 of its 4 quarters there are etched symbols, but the 4th quarter, which is formed of a soft clay-like substance, remain blank. Your basic Kai instinct tells you that the symbols are a clue to a Melidorian code that unlocks the Great Door. By inscribing the correct symbols in the soft surface of the blank square, you will cause the portal to open. Study the sequence carefully. First of all, do we have petmanship and divination? Your senses warn that a powerful spell protects this portal. If you inscribe the wrong symbol on the blank square, you will break the spell, the consequence of which could be fatal. Oh, yeah, I fucking love this enlarge as fuck thing. Alright, let's go back and let's check out. So, first thing is a white triangle, white circle. Right beside 2 circles, 2 white circles and a black triangle. Right below, black triangle, white circle. So now, alright. Study the symbols carefully and combine them with the other 3 symbols in the illustration. Okay, so far, yeah, 2 votes for C. It's like I don't even remember how it is. Yeah. Okay, C or we are a moron. Oh, we are a moron! D! Sorry, use worm, but the people have picked C. A soft whirring noise emanates from inside the lock, and then silently and effortlessly the great portal swings open. With your nerves on edge, you enter the dark interior and follow a featureless corridor to another large but less impressive door, which opens at your approach. A surge of damp air whips past you, suck into the chamber beyond as the airtight seal is broken after many decades. Torches ignite spontaneously, and for the first time in its long history, the secrets of the inner sanctum of the Great Sepulchre are revealed to the eyes of a Neonian. At the center of the chamber stands the statue of a proud Melidorian warrior, clad in battle dress and with his sword raised in challenge. 7 closed caskets lie at his feet, with 7 more beside them, open and empty, awaiting future generations of the Ironheart clan. Here you can sense the presence of the Lorestones more strongly. Your skin tingles and your pulse begins to race. But despite your reaction, you can tell that they lie not within this chamber, but somewhere nearby. Behind the tall statue, you discover a narrow stair that ascends to a circular portal in the ceiling. Close to the foot of the stair, there's an arched door of sparkling blue metal. Alright, we have the Summer Sword. Gently, the Summer Swords vibrate in its scabbard, and a cool golden fire laps at the hilt. Instinctively, you unsheath it, and immediately the blade is engulfed by golden flames, ignited by the close proximity of the Lorestones. As you raise the sword, the flames burn brighter and illuminate the circular portal in the ceiling. At once, you realize that it must provide access to the roof of the sepulchre, and with your heart pounding, you race up the steps, confident of finding the objects of your quest waiting for you there. A lever operates the portal, and when you pull it, the circular hatch creaks open and a shaft of grey light washes over your head and shoulder. Your senses burn with expectation. You grip the rim and start to pull yourself through the hole, but a dark shadow and a cold wind sweep over you, making you flinch and fall back on the stairs. There is a loud crack, like a sharp clap of thunder. Then a terrible scream of agony echoes through the forest. Fear and anger grip your senses as you realize that you've just heard the dying scream of Hodel, your guide. Enraged, you leap for the portal and pull yourself onto the roof, where the Lorestones and an unexpected enemy await you. Perched on a bough overhanging the roof is a gigantic black-winged bird. Seated on its back is a magnificent warrior dressed in scarlet silk and polished silver mail. His head is crowned by an elaborate helmet, its visor formed in the shape of a roaring dragon with jewel eye and fiery breath. The tangled branches prevent the bird from landing, but a rope ladder hangs from its saddle and the warrior uses it to climb down onto the roof. He leaps the last few feet and his landing disturbs the dense mist that carpets the surface, rolling it back to reveal two glowing golden spheres of crystal, each filled with fire, lying close to where he now stands. He crouches down and your stomach churns with dread as you see him reach out to grab the golden lore stone. Alright, so do we use our bow in order to fire at him? Do we draw a hand weapon and attack him to prevent him from taking the lore stone? Or do we command him to not touch the lore stone? Okay, take a shot. Oh, command him. I want you to not touch the Lost Stone. If you look at them closely, my name is on them. Alright, fire wins. I mean, we would have gotten there eventually. If we failed the IQ puzzle and everything, you'd lose 10 endurance points and then you have to try again. Alright, Bo. You draw an arrow and take aim as he stoops to snatch the lore stones with his gloved hand. But he's covered in heavy mail, and even at such close range, there are few places where you can be sure that your arrow will pierce his armor. Do we fire at his visor, at his throat, or at his chest? If we picked D6 time, he will have died. It's like we're lone wolf, we're not Homer Simpson here. Okay. Alright, let's go. Visor. You take aim at his right eye and release your shaft, but his reactions are lightning fast. He ducks and tries to deflect your arrow on the reinforced crown of his helmet. Alright, add to it any... Pick a number from the random table and add any bonuses. +5. 5 plus 5. Alright, 9 or more. In spite of his attempt to deflect your arrow, it penetrated the cheek plate less than an inch below his eye. First of all, we probably should remove an arrow. He bellows an agonized cry and wrenches the shaft from his face. Such force at you is impressive, but you can tell that he suffered a serious wound. Feverishly, he scoops the lore stone into a small velvet sack tied to his sword belt. Swiftly, you shoulder your bow and draw a hand weapon as you run forward to prevent his escape. Cursing vilely, he unsheaths a curvy blade sword and raises it to parry your first attack. You sense that he's a formidable fighter, but his wound has left him greatly weakened. His attacks are slow and erratic, and you're determined to exploit your advantage to the full. Alright, 25 combat skill to 30, so we have perfect combat skill for this. And this fight also stops whenever his endurance drops to 20 or less, so... Alright, without any further ado, let's a fight! Okay, 6... What is 6 good for? 16 damage to the enemy and 1 damage to us. Okay, alright. Combat stops immediately. Breathless and bleeding, the warrior evades your skillful attacks by leaping from the rope ladder and holding fast. From there he shouts a command and the giant blackbird takes to the air, lifting him off the roof. A wave of panic engulfs you. In desperation, you leap up and strike a blow at the velvet sack swinging from his belt. He tries to fend off your attack, but his position is precarious. Your blow strikes home, slitting open the velvet and gashing deep into the back of his gloved hand. He drops his sword and one of the 2 Lorestones tumble from the sack and falls into the graveyard below, coming to rest close to the door of the sepulchre. Yet he manages to save the second Lorestone from falling, and with a parting curse, you watch as he is lifted above the trees and carried away into the cold grey sky. Peering over the parapet, you try to locate the Lorestone, but it is impossible to see through the airy blue carpet of grave mist. You're about to leave the roof when you hear a thrumming noise, like the sound of wild and discordant drumming. You peer in the direction of the noise. Oh, alright. And Shinryu is dead. Whoever has said that we will finish the book before everything, sorry, you have failed. Oh, whoops. That's this is not Twitch. So, alright. Choose prediction. Will Shinryu die before we finish this book? Answer is yes. Yeah, that's an album from Tangerine Dream that I wanted to listen. So that's the thing that you ended up seeing. Alright. Spurred on by anchor. Oh, whoops, that's right. You peer in the direction of the noise and see a line of hulking shapes shambling toward the gaps in the perimeter wall. Instantly you recognize them. They are Acta, the hideous creations of the Chaos Master. Spurred on by anger and fear, you race through the inner sanctum of the sepulchre and skid to a halt outside its great door. There, shrouded in mist, you discover the body of your guide, his chest torn open and blackened by a bolt of power that claimed his life. You kneel to close his sightless eyes and immediately sense that the Lorestone is close at hand. Guided by instinct, you race toward the Lorestone, but as you are running past the entrance to a crypt, you are set upon by a pair of snarling chaos creatures. You are in combat with 2 Actus scouts who are determined to fight you to death. Immune to Mind Blast, but not Psi Surge. Unless you have Hunt Mastery, you lose 3 combat skill for the first 2 rounds of combat. We don't regard that. We are totally at ease with everything. Alright. Now 21, 31, it's 26. Okay, we still have a perfect combat ratio, so perfect. Okay, 12 damage to the enemy and 2 damage to us. Oh, 1. Okay, 9 damage to the enemy. He dies, but we also take 3 damage. Alright. You leap over the bodies of the dead Agta and press on with your surge. Ahead, you see a glimmer of gold in the pale blue luminance, and we might as well just turn off Fiesta. It's kind of no longer necessary. Ahead, you see a glimmer of gold in the pale blue luminescence, and you thrust your hand toward it into the mist. A tingling sensation runs the length of your arm, filling your body with an incredible sense of strength and well-being as you close your hand around the Lorestone and hold it up before your eye. Alright, regain all of your endurance. I mean, I forgot to subtract it, so let's just say it counts. The golden glow fades as the wisdom contained within the Lorestone is infused into your being. Your spirit soars, but you do not allow your euphoria to blind you to the danger that is closing on Telekos. You turn and run back toward the entrance of the Great Sepulchre, intending to seek sanctuary behind its door, but your foot catches on something sharp and sends you sprawling to the ground. The toe of your left boot is cut through, but fortunately your foot has escaped without a scratch. Cautiously, you try to locate what caused such a vicious cut and discover the Scarlet Warrior's curvy-bladed sword. Do we take it or not? Yeah, but hey, we can always see, we gotta see the world of weapons. You raise the sword and essay a cut or two to assess its worth. It is a fine weapon, skillfully crafted by an expert smith. Its hilt is bejeweled with emeralds and the curvy blades engraved with a spectacularly fiery dragon. At once you recognize the design and your hopes of retrieving the last Lorestone are revived. It is identical to the symbol you first saw on the Table of Vision, the mark that emblazoned the stone gate of Haggadar. You focus your Kai skills on the blade and they confirm your suspicions. The Scarlet Warrior came from Haggadar, and it is to that distant city that his Blackwing Mount is now returning with the last Lorestones of Nyxator. From the depths of the Gnaag forest crawl a nightmare army of gibbering chaos creatures. They are directed by one sinister being and all are obedient to a silent command. You run toward the sepulchre with terror in your heart as their writhing shape pour through the gap in the perimeter wall in ever-increasing numbers. You evade their spears and stone, but as you reach the great door, you are confronted by 3 tentacle horrors, wearing heavy armor strapped to their warty hides. Their bloated bodies fill the doorway and prevent you from entering. Alright, do we have divination, hunt mastery, or petmanship? We have all 3 of them. Your senses tell you that Lorcan's Iron Heart army is within a league of Telekos and will be here within the hour. Until then, you must find somewhere safe from the Chaos Horde, or you will be overwhelmed and destroyed by the sheer weight of numbers. Quickly you scan the surrounding crypts and note that, with the exception of the Grand Sepulchre and Balon's tomb, they are all in a state of ruin. So do we attack the Chaos creature, blocking the entrance to the Grand Sepulchre, or do we run to Balon's tomb and attempt to hide there? Alright, 1 vote for fleeing, 1 for attack. Okay, alright, let's fight. So yeah, the 3 creatures bellow and growl as your blows find their way between their plate of armor, and they retaliate by lashing you with their suckered tentacles. Their attacks are ill-aimed and clumsy, but wherever one of their rubbery limbs touches your body, it leaves an angry red wheal. Alright, only 12 combat skill, 43 endurance. Unless you have the Magna Chi discipline of curing and have reached the Chi rank of Mentor or higher, add 2 to any endurance point loss you sustain, owing to the poisonous slash of their tentacle. So, if we didn't have curing, their damage will be tripled. So yeah, all in all, that ain't great. But what's great is that, hey, we definitely have the combat skill to overpower these jerkos. Okay, 3. 11 damage to the enemy. Whoops, where is my sheet? Oops. Okay. It's 11 damage and 2 to us. Okay, enemy is instantly killed. Congratulations. We have 29 HP left. As the last of your foul enemies fall dead at your feet, you sheath your weapon and draw their blood-spattered corpses away from the great door. Then you push close the heavy portal, making sure that it is secure before climbing the stair to the roof. Oh, whoops, sorry. As you look down from the parapet, you are greeted by a steering side. Lorkhan's Ironheart army is surging into Telekos, transforming the chaos-choked ground into a raging battlefield. At their head, you see Lorkhan, his silver armor and scarlet cloak tarnished with black blood, striking at the enemy with blurring speed and deadly accuracy. He leads a massive wedge of Melidorian warriors whose face and armor are painted with magical runes to ward off the creatures of chaos. The Agta melt before them like ice before a fire and flee in panic to the dark safety of the Nagat. The Melidorian give a rousing cheer of victory to speed the enemy retreat, but their jubilant cries are soon stifled when, from the depth of the forest, they are answered by a thunderous roar. There we go. Whatever the fuck these things are being driven away. Something huge and deadly striding toward Telekos. The ground trembles beneath his step and the air is filled with sounds of great destruction. The crack and groan of sundered trees and the thunderous growl of a gigantic beast grow steadily louder, driving many of Lorkhan's soldiers to the brink of despair. Desperately he tries to rally them, but his voice is lost in the deafening noise. Suddenly a gap appears at the forest's edge as effortlessly a pair of stout trees are pushed apart by monstrous hands. Morbid terror grips the Melidorian and few stand their ground when they see the awesome visage of the Chaos Master looming 30 feet above. You look upon his massive naked body and feel sickened by what you see. His features are in a constant state of flux, dissolving, merging, and melting into a new and ever more hideous shape. Only Lorkhan appears unmoved by the dreadful sight. He raises his sword and challenges the evil being to single combat, but his brave words are met with a howl of derision. Yep, there it is, the Chaos Master. Also, I like the scale here. It's like this little tiny guy just really helps upsell this guy in his fucking chicken leg. Speaks the Chaos Master, his mocking voice unbearably loud. Lorkhan remains undaunted by his enemy and repeats his call for combat. The Chaos Masters laugh. For those special people prefer, I will delight in killing such a righteous fool as thou, Lorkhan. With terrifying ease, the Chaos Master uproots the trees, pares away the branches with the edge of his hand, and then wields it like a gigantic club. He strides forward, pursuing Lorkhan in a grim game of cat and mouse that leaves a trail of destruction wherever they go. The Melidorian relies on luck and fleetness of foot to avoid the crushing blows, but his luck and skill do not last indefinitely. He slips and falls near the wall of the crypt on the roof of which you are crouching. The Chaos Master bellows with glee and strides forward, his club raised to crush Lorcan to an unrecognizable pulp. His loathsome shoulders roll level with the parapet and as he steadies himself for the coup de grace, he comes within an arm's length of your possession. Alright, we have the Sunner's Sword. You draw back your golden blade and take aim at the Chaos Master's heart, but the closeness of your goodly blade screams a warning at this evil god and quickly turns to face you. You strike a blow which wounds his side but misses its vital target. With a roar of pain, the Chaos Master drops his club and clasps his side. Pain swiftly becomes rage, and with a vengeful scream, he reaches out to crush you to death in his monstrous hands. So yeah, Chaos Master lightly wounded, 44 combat skills, 62 endurance. So yeah, immune to Mind Blast, but not Psy Surge. And if you possess the lower circle of the spirit, we had 2 more combat skill points. Okay, the very least we're not left naked. So yeah, we have 37 points, plus Mind Blast, 41. Well, not Mind Blast, but Psy Surge. 41, plus the Lore Stone. So the combat ratio is -1. But the problem is that this thing has double our endurance. So... yeah, not that bad, but in the end I still think, yeah, this is gonna be bad. No, sadly, that's all we got. We have no other tricks to beat him, so... without any further ado, it's time to let the victory against Shinryu to motivate us. Oh, 9! Alright. So, -1, 11 damage to the enemy. And we lose 2 endurance because of Psy Surge. Zero. Oh no, it was 10 damage. Sorry, I can't read. Okay. Let's just say that for this one it's 10 damage. And 2 more damage. Because of mine, because of the thing. 3. What is 3? 4 damage to the enemy, 4 damage to us. 4 plus 2 equals 6. 21. Oh, 1. 2 damage to the enemy. 5 damage to us, plus 2, 14. 3, 4 damage to the enemy, 4 damage to us. Yeah, sadly, I think our luck has kind of fell off. Yep. 1. So, okay, we're down to 1 HP. That means we can no longer use Psy Surge, and now our combat ratio has fell down to -5. 3, I'm not even gonna bother counting. Like -5, okay. Chaos Master was at 27 HP. We almost half killed it, but sadly it got our number. Okay, hold on a second. Oh, okay, that was pitiful. But hey, you know what they say? If at first you don't succeed... Okay, 9! Okay, we start again with a bang. 10 damage to the enemy, 0 to us. We lose 2 endurance because of Psy Surge. Well... Okay, 3 damage to the enemy. And 5 damage to us, plus 2. feel like all of our quota of good luck kind of evaporated away after our fight with the fucking the fucker Daziarn. Okay, 5, 8. Like we're somehow doing even worse than earlier. Okay, 5, 6 damage to the enemy. And 4 damage to us. Okay, combat ratio diminishes to -5 from now on. Okay, alright, not even bothering. But hey, the good news is that I can improve. Let's see how we can further ruin this. So bad. Alright, 53, 7 damage. $56 plus another 7 damage to okay, 6, 7 damage to the enemy, 2 damage to us plus 2 more. 4, 5 damage to the enemy, and 4 damage to us. 4 plus 2 equals 6. Yeah, do I have to actually find myself a real dice? Okay, 5, 6 damage to the enemy, 3 damage. Okay, but will Psych ever play the fucking... No, we won't! Okay, 7. Now our combat ratio is -5. Okay, we're dead. But hey, on the plus side, the Chaos Master was down at 30 HP. This is an improvement, right? Okay, 7. Already off to a better start. 8 damage. 8 damage and 2 damage plus 2 damage. Oh, 9! 10 damage. And we lose 2 HP because of my Psy Surge. At this point, I don't even have to look at the combat table. I know the results by it. Fuck! Alright, we lose another 7 endurance, 3 damage. Yeah, so far, Zakan Kima is the source of the most of our death. But this guy could probably take the cake. Okay, 1, okay, blah, 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 blah. Our combat ratio now becomes -5. I mean, the bonus that we currently have, it's with the Spirit Circle. 5 minus 5. Okay, 4 damage. That was our best fight though, but still, not enough. Like the main thing which is ball crushing with this is the fact that we're so far away from him endurance wise. 7 damage to the enemy, 2 damage to us, -2. Oh, this fight is fucking not. I mean, don't get me wrong, we are fighting a god here. So therefore, it is difficult as it should be, but still, this fight fucking sucks balls. Okay, 5. Okay, 6 damage. And 3 damage, and... Like, we need to roll literally nothing else but 0. Alright, combat ratio is now -5. Okay, 7... 6 damage to the enemy and 3 damage to us. Okay, alright, we're dead again. Okay. Oh, whoops, I forgot to have the death. Okay, 6. 7 damage to the enemy. No, I'm playing at my best, I swear to God. Okay, 6 damage. And we take 3 damage plus 2. 7. 8 damage. 2 damage. 7 damage, 8 damage to the enemy, 2 damage to us, minus more 2. Oh, 8, 9 damage, and 1 damage to us, minus 2 more. Even now, we are so far away. 6 damage. 3 damage to us, minus 2, 3, minus 5, 6. Alright, it's down to the wire. Which wire? I don't know. Okay, we're dead. Too bad, because that was the closest we got. Alright, without any further ado. Okay, hate. As in, boy, I hate this fight. Alright. 9 damage versus 2. Oh, hold on a second. Just like, I need to check out. I know I bought dice, like at some point, like a stupid fucker. I'm wondering if I will actually do better with an actual dice. It's like, alright, let's restart the fight, but I am not gonna use the random number table. I just found a dice 10. I'm gonna roll it. Unfortunately, you can't see it, but I will totally do it. Alright, come on, dice. Okay, 5. Okay, 5. Okay, 6 damage to the enemy. And 3 damage, minus 2. 5 again. Okay, I don't think it's gonna work. I think the dice here is just about as bad. Oh, whoops, that's right. I'm supposed to roll the dice, not the random. Okay. I'm doing even worse with the dice. I just rolled a 2. Like, do I just take a mulligan and immediately die? It's like, no, fuck off. Yeah, I'm taking the mulligan. This is a hopeless battle. It's like, unless I roll fucking high all the way, it's like, it's not gonna work. Alright, come on. No! Okay, 2. It's like... Okay, alright, 6. Okay, 7 damage and 2 damage plus 2. 5. 6 damage. Okay, 6 damage and 3 damage plus 5. 7. 8 damage. Oh, I will show you what happens if, you know, you use the other sword that you find only if, you know, you do not have the summer sword. Oh, 0! 11 damage, and we only lose 2 HP because of Psy Blast. Oh, 8? Okay, 9 damage and 1 damage to us. 8. 9 damage. 1 damage. Alright, come on. This is the closest. No, it's a 5. No, no, no. Okay, 6 damage, 3 damage, plus 2, 5. Alright, fuck it. Normally, we're not supposed to have Psy Surge anymore, but fuck it, I'm bending the rule. It all works, it all comes down to this. Oh no, my water bottle is fucking masking the dice. Jesus Christ. Alright, come on, I must get the thing out. Okay. Alright, come on, come on. No, it's a 3! Fuck! Just to show how close we got. 2 damage, but we've done. Alright, come on. Okay, and with that, now this fight is fucking garbage. It's like, this is, okay, sadly the dice doesn't seem it to work. Or what if I refresh the random number table? It's like, hold on a second. Okay, refresh. Alright, we got a brand new table here. Let's try this. Oh, alright, 0. Off to a good start. Okay, 7. 8 damage. And 2 plus 2. Yeah, what the fuck? I swear the other table was haunted by a ghost of the ass. It's like, that's literally what it is. Okay, never mind. 5 damage, and we take 6 damage. Oh, 0! 11 damage! And 2 damage to us. Okay, 6, 7 damage, 2 damage, plus 2. Oh boy. Again, I don't like where this is going. No, no. Okay, 7 damage. Okay, 4. Okay, 4 plus 2. Okay, with that said, I cannot bend the rule for this, because if we use Psi Surge, we pretty much assuredly die from it. So, alright, the combat ratio is now -5. But this is still salvageable! 6. 5 damage. And all right. In the meantime, the deaths are still piling on like Focko Jones' Medio Empire. 3 damage to the enemy, 5 damage to the... 7, 8 damage, 4 damage to us. Okay, 9, 10 damage, and 2 damage to us. Like you see, if we roll a 9 or 0 4 times in a row, we will win. Unlike this kind of result, where we will fucking lose, like a loosey asshole. Oh, 0. Alright, 27 and 9. It's okay, we only need to roll 0 like 3 more times. Oh. No, if this seriously happens this way, like, no, okay. Alright, whatever, fuck it. All caution on the wind, baby. 7, alright, 7, what is 7? 8 damage! 2 damage! -2 more with the Psi Surge. We fucking did it! At the skin of our teeth! But yeah, just in order to show you what happens if you use the other weapon instead. 38 combat skill, 54 endurance, and the Iron Hard Broadsword gives you 8 combat skill for this fight. So yeah, all in all, fuck you for doing book 2. Alright, before we do anything, let's use our healing stuff in order to go back to 6 HP. And now... oops.
It looks like you've been subscribed.
Oh, thank you, Impuli, for the sub. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, but you needed to know. The bullshit needed to be known by all.
But all I got was this lousy sub-message.
But yeah, congrats, we killed a god. As you strike the fatal blow, the Chaos Master vents a shriek loud enough to wake the dead. His great body stiffens and his skin writhes and shimmers, making it impossible to discern any detail. Then he fades until all that remains to record his existence is the lingering smell of his spilled blood. Yeah, we died like 10 fucking times. The Melidorians are overjoyed to have witnessed the spectacular defeat of the Chaos Master, for your victory has rid them of their greatest enemy. They call to you to come down from the roof, and when you appear in the doorway, they shower you with praise. We owe you more than our lives, Aeonian, says Lorcan, his strange blue eyes aglow with admiration. Your great deed has saved our realm and put an end to the plague of chaos that would have corrupted us all. We are forever in your debt. Yeah, I'm so fucking I'm still taking a guess. Lorcan orders that word of the victory be sent immediately to his people and commands that a celebration be held in your honor. But the urgency of your quest prompts you to forego the festivities and begin your journey to Haggadar at once. Lorcan understands your need to make haste and offers to help you by assigning another scout to guide you through the Gnaag to the plain of Guakor. Do we accept the offer of help of Lorcan, or do we continue our quest alone? Yeah, we are a lone wolf. Alright, get a replacement. Alright, let's bring a red shirt. Alright. Your new scout's name is Hark, a wiry Melidorian with steely gray hair and a lean, scraggy face. But first, let's get another HP back. He is an expert woodsman, and with his help, you're able to avoid all contact with marauding remnants of the Chaos Horde. The journey to the edge of the plain of Guakor takes nearly 100 hours. And thank you, Empuli, for the donation. Thank you very much.
Tu es le maître du chaos en tirant des missiles zur sun point faible.
Sadly, we do not have that. I'm sorry. But thank you. During which time you are able to conserve your food supplies by living off the land. In fact, so bountiful is the Gnaag forest that you are able to gather a surplus of food equivalent to 3 meals. If you wish to keep any of the surplus food, just your chart, I guess let's put 1 meal. Alright, you share a meal with Hark and bid him farewell. You do not need to erase a meal from your action chart. Oh, but never mind. Let's go and eat our good meal that gives us 3 endurance points back. That seems like a good idea right now, considering that we're fucking dead. Then you check your equipment and consult your map before setting off with trepidation across the barren plain of Guakor. Alright. Use a random number table to get a number. 5. So bye not everybody, Steve. Thanks for coming by. The plain of Guakor stretches to the cloudy horizon like a vast sea of dust, broken only occasionally by a boulder or a clump of wire-hard scrub. It is a drear panorama, a land once rich and fertile murdered by the curse of chaos. It instills in you a feeling of dread uncertainty at first, but as you trudge each weary mile, it slowly strengthens your determination to fulfill your quest. For the fate that have befallen Guakor will befall Summerlund if you fail to find the last Lorestone and return to defeat Dark Lord Gnaag. Shortly after your second stop for rest, you hear a sound far to your right. A tiny speck in the gray sky grows steadily larger until, at last, you are able to discern its shape. A cold chill runs down your spine when you recognize its dragon-like feature. It is a Zenga, the scourge of Guakor. Alright, do we try and hide from the beast or stand our ground and wait for its arrival? Alright, bring it, dragon. Alright, let's go. Let's kick its ass. Alright, stand our ground. The Zenga approaches with deadly grace, its huge grey-green wings bearing it along at marvelous speed. Wisp of smoke trail from its fang mouth and its emerald eyes sparkle like a pair of evil jewels. It circles you once to consider its action before diving to attack. Alright, we use our bow. Alright, twang! That's right, let's twang. Alright, the awesome creature is covered in scaly plates of horn which interlink to protect most of its body. There's only one place vulnerable to an arrow, its glowing green eyes. Alright, pick a number and add any bonuses. +5. Oh, alright, 5 to 8. Your arrow grazes the creature's eye and ricochets up to its horny lid. The sudden unexpected pain sends the creature in the sky, screeching an agonized cry across the empty plain. Then it turns and flies away to seek the shelter of its lair and nurse its weeping wound. Ah, okay. I mean, in the end, the outcome was... the desired outcome was achieved. After you encounter, you stop to rest less frequently. Mile after mile, you plod on mechanically, only half aware of the lifeless landscape through which you move. Fatigue dulls your senses, and you cannot recall the exact moment you entered the Neverness. Like a dream, it is as if you've always been there. Clouds swirl beneath your feet, yet they support your weight. You float in a sea and sky of grey light without horizon or boundary, a limitless eternity of space. There are distant sounds like muffled voices, but when you strive to understand them, they fade and you cannot catch the word. Time passes, yet time is meaningless, for you cannot tell the order in which events are taking place. From out of the swirling wisp of cloud, 3 globes of darkness arise. They swim closer, hovering to and fro, evolving into the form of black-hooded riders on demon steeds. Leering skulls peer from the shadow of their cloaks, and you see your own eyes reflected in their bony sockets. Alright, do we have a size screen? Yes, we do. Blasts of psychic force shoot from the shadow creature and hurtle toward your mind, but you sense a danger and raise a psychic defense to deflect the attack. The hostile energy buckles your thought shield and leaves you shivering with psychic shock. Have we reached the rank of Sion Kai? Yes, we did. You use your improved psychic skill to repair your thought shield by catching and controlling part of the hostile energy being directed against you. The shadow creatures sense your psychic mastery and a whisper passes between them. They split up and the hoof of their steed churn the cloud to a rolling ferment as they move at a gallop to surround you. Do you have Psy Surge? Yes. You focus your energy on the approaching shadows and prepare to engage them in psychic combat. Alright, 25 combat skill and 40 endurance. Conduct this mind combat following normal combat procedure, although in this instance, weapon skill bonuses cannot be used to increase your basic combat skill score. Instead, for every discipline you possess over and above the first 3, add 1 combat skill for the duration of the fight. If you possess a psychic ring or a grey crystal ring, add 3 more combat skill. The combat skill bonus for using a shield does not apply, neither the bonuses for Alator and the Summer Sword. The only exception is the bonus granted for possessing the Silver Helm. Yeah, this is a complicated fight. Okay, so our base combat skill is 21. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. We have a psychic ring, so it goes all the way up to 29. And we got the Silver Helm, so it goes all the way up to 31. Alright, now everything should be okay. Alright. I think we've got the hang of all of this, so let us begin. Let us begin and let's lose our spreadsheets. Alright. Okay, 7, 12 damage to the enemy and 1 damage to us. Wait, is that it? Oh no, no damage to us. Alright. Okay, 12 more damage to the enemy. Nine, 16 damage to the enemy. The enemy is dead. Alright, that was surprisingly easy. With a haunting scream, the evil shadows fade and dissolve in the swirling clouds. A loud wind whistles in your ear, carrying the mournful sound of a tolling bell. The center of the cloud, a ray of golden light pulses like a heartbeat in time to the chime of the bell. It draws you toward it, and you cannot resist its call. Slowly the clouds separate and a tall tower of glistening white stone looms before you. A globe of golden light hangs suspended in midair above its conical roof, pulsating with heat and radiating power like a tiny newborn sun. Its comforting warmth draws you toward an open portal at the side of the tower. Beyond it, you see a dark tunnel that descends toward a speck of misty yellow light. Alright, we have the lower circle of the spirit. Waves of raw psychic energy radiates from the golden sphere, hovering motionless above the tower. Your highly developed spirit skills enable you to tap this energy and use it to replenish lost endurance point. First of all, the 1 endurance point that we get with curing. Alright, pick a random number, 0 equal 10. The number that we get equals the number of endurance we get. Oh, 7 endurance back! Oh my! Thank you, Dark Cup, for the sub. Thank you very much. Alright, make the necessary adjustment. There we go.
From my sub.
You find it impossible to resist a strange compulsion drawing you toward the light. Effortlessly, you glide along the tunnel and emerge at the center of a huge, transparent sphere suspended in a luminous yellow sea of oily liquid. Behind its seamless walls swim fish-like creatures, strange things with phosphorescent bodies and opalescent jaws. You stare in fascination as they swim around you, seemingly oblivious of your presence. From the curved floor of the spherical chamber, a billowing mist arises. It blurs your vision and numbs your senses. As if in a dream, you feel yourself lifted by the buoyant cloud and transported across a vast shadowy terrain where spirit shapes like wisps of white silk swirl around you in continuous motion. At first, you cannot discern the nature of these gossamer forms, but slowly they draw into focus until at last you are able to distinguish their features. A cold terror grips your mind when you realize exactly what it is you are looking at. Alright, we got side screen. The ghostly form possess the faces of every enemy you have ever slain. They twist and contoured beneath your gaze, their empty eyes burning with cold blue eyes as they return your stares. Frantically, you draw on your psychic reserve and succeed in shielding your mind from the shock of this haunting confrontation. The ghosts dissolve into the mist and a strange serenity soothes your tortured mind. New forms are taking shape now. They fill the scope of your vision with memories of events that occurred long ago. You see the smiling faces of your mother and father, the village of Gnaag, where you lived before you entered the Kai Monastery, your sister Carrie calling you in for supper at the close of a warm summer's day, and the sad memory of your brother Jim. gave his life to save yours when, on your 6th birthday, you slipped and fell into the river Tor. With amazement, you watch as the patchwork parade of recollections continue to unfold, and slowly a realization of their meaning crystallizes in your mind. These people and event have all played their parts, be it great or small, in the shaping of your destiny. Suddenly, the visions are obscured by a dazzling light which shines so brilliantly that you are forced to shield your eyes against the glare. Many moments pass before you can make out the shape of what looms above. It is the huge face of a mighty warrior, strong and wise, whose golden eyes stare down at you with supernatural majesty. A kindly smile softens his heroic features, and a voice, deep and wondrous, rumbles from his throat. In the age of darkness, you have been chosen to fulfill the quest of the Magnamund. Be true to the quest, for a greatness born within you can save your people and right the imbalance which threatens to destroy your world. Doubt not your purpose nor your strength, for inside you there burns a flame that can light the hopes of future men for all time. The divine radiance of his being and the gravity of his words fills you with wonderment, for your senses tell you that you are now in the presence of your creator, the immortal god Kai. The vision of your maker shatters with breathtaking suddenness, and without any warning, you fall forward and plummet into a thick, swirling cloud. The scary sensation of this rapid descent leaves you gasping, but the initial shock is soon replaced by the calm certainty that your fall is being controlled by unseen hands. Then, as if awakening from a dream, you become aware that the cloud has faded and the welcome feel of firm ground has returned beneath your feet. You stand at the foot of a massive sandstone cliff, its sheer wall pitted and scarred by fierce wind that whip across the surrounding rocky landscape. Perched at the top of the cliff is a walled city, whose grim outline and dragon gate you recognize immediately. It is Hagadar, the forgotten city of the Sendai. You stare up at the stronghold, pondering the near impossible climb to its gate, and try to suppress your mounting fears. Nearby you see a stinking stream of foul water. You follow it to its source and discover that it pours from a grill set in the cliff wall. It must be a sewage channel that services the city above. Do we enter the city via the sewage channel, or do we try to climb the sheer windswept cliff to the city gate? Alright, sewage chan. Time to swim in raw sewage. Oh, we will not suffer a sewer level. Alright, sewer level is mandatory. You've heard the people. The rusty bars offer little resistance to a couple of well-placed kicks, and you are able to gain entry to the circular chute with ease. A narrow walkway runs beside the gurgling channel, ascending by steps and ramps as the climb becomes increasingly steep. The dark stone walls are beaded with moisture and smeared with patches of luminous fungi which keep the sewer bathed in an eerie green half-light. At length you reach a landing where a smaller channel joins the main flow. As you pass it and set foot on the stair beyond, you hear a sound like the rustling of leather on stone, and sense that something hungry is advancing along the tunnel toward you. Do we have animal control? Nope. A clanging of fang and a cold Ophidian smell serve to warn you that a gigantic serpent is advancing toward the landing. Attracted by the promising warmth and scent of your body, it is moving very quickly, and you realize at once that your only hope of evading it is to delay its advance. Alright, do we possess 4 meals? Yes, we have 4 meals. Okay, alright. Hastily, you tip your provisions onto the wet flagstone floor and run up the stairs as fast as your legs will carry you. Your quick thinking pays off. The gigantic sewer snake stops to consume your food, enabling you to escape. The stairs lead to a passageway, which give access to a street via hinged stone portals in the ceiling. You climb through one of the portals to emerge on a gloomy street corner. Few walk the shadowy avenues of Agadar. The atmosphere is so thick with the smell of salt and sulfur that we get a subscription from Carmen94. Thank you very much. I mean, so far we definitely have been the prisoners of time, alright. It's been a hazy journey. Yeah, the atmosphere is so thick with the smell of salt and sulfur that those whom you do pass are unrecognizable behind the damp pad they press to their face to ward off the cloying stench. The dimly lit street ends at a central square where you witness two encouraging sights. Roped to a stone monolith at the center of the square is a huge black bird, the Scarlet Warrior's winged steed. Behind it, rising in flat-topped tiers, is the Temple of the Sendai. Two armor-clad creatures stand guard at the entrance, their rusty helmet crudely adapted to hold their face pads in position. You sense that the Lorestone is here, within the temple, and you scan every inch of it in the hope of finding an unguarded entrance. There are no other doors, but a circular chimney-like vent protrudes from the middle of the highest tier. Do we climb to the top of the temple and attempt to enter the vent, or do we cover our face and attempt to bluff our way past the guards? Right, bluff. Okay, one vote for bluff, one vote for vent. Oh, another vote for vent, okay. Vent wins. In the gloom, you're able to reach the top of the temple unseen. The vent is wide enough for you to pass through easily, but the foul odor pouring out of the funnel makes you feel nauseous and dizzy. Okay, lose 3 endurance points due to the fume unless you possess the Magnamund discipline of Nexus. We do have it! A dim light glows somewhere in the depth of the shaft, and the sound of grinding machinery is carried upward on the bad air. Gingerly, you lower yourself down the suitcake shaft to a place where another vent crosses it horizontally. 10 yards from this point, you find a hatch. The hatch opens up to reveal an empty chamber below, with several corridors radiating from it like the spokes of a wheel. Quickly you enter and follow a corridor that sweeps away in a smooth, curving arc. A line of doors, each one painted with the symbol of a writhing serpent, marches past on either side. The doors are invariably locked and their are invariably closed, and their heavy iron bolts are locked in position. You ignore them and hurry on toward a distant staircase, for it is here that you sense that the power of the last Lorestone is at its strongest. The staircase opens up to a balcony, which overlooks a large circular hall. Here the floor is made of a polished blue-black marble that gleams like the still water of a lake. At one end stands a massive table cluttered with artifacts, scrolls, and many strange potions and powder that hint at the practice of alchemy. At the opposite end of the hall is a towering arch, its surface sculptured with all manners of creatures, many of which stir a deep loathing within you. Beneath the arch is a complete darkness. No light at all penetrates or reflects in this inky abyss, for this is the Shadow Gate of Sendai, the doorway back to your home world. A sudden sound makes you spin on your heel and instinctively you crouch down, ready for combat. A small group of people, dressed in costumes that look vaguely familiar, are marching along the corridor toward the balcony. To avoid them, you hurry down a narrow stair that leads to the hall below and take cover behind the overladen table. From your hiding place, you observe the group make their entrance. There are 6 of them, 4 men, 1 woman, and 1 other who walk with a stoop at the center of the group and whom you cannot see clearly. You concentrate on their clothing, for there's something about its cut and style that is definitely familiar, yet you cannot pinpoint what it is. Then suddenly you recognize it, and the shock makes you draw breath. They are wearing some lending costumes. The 5 visible faces are now all too familiar to you. Louviers Court, the Poisoner of Tizo, Falco, Highwayman and Cutthroat, Haita Namata, the Witch of the Cure London Isle, Porgron, Murderer, and Gordon Viz, Chief Druid of Malice Mount, Necromancer and Cannibal. These are 5 of Summerlund's most notorious criminals, all of whom were sentenced to be thrown into the Shadow Gate of Torrent for their crimes. 5 pairs of startled eyes glare at the table, alerted by your gasp, and the slick sound of blades leaving oil scabbards soon follow. The 4 men and the woman, Aita, raise their sword and step forward to challenge you. As they move apart, you see the 6th member of their group clearly, and an icy chill runs down your spine. Slowly, you shake your head in disbelief as your stare is returned by the cold, malicious eyes of Vonatar the traitor. The 5 notorious criminals raise their sword and step forward to challenge you, exposing the 6th member of the group. Detail. It's like an oil scabbard a day is something. Long have I waited for the chance to enact my revenge on you, lone wolf. He hisses, his loathsome voice filling the hall with sibilant echoes. And now my time has come! Kill him! He screams maniacally, and the 5 spring forward, eager to obey his command. You cannot evade this combat, and you must fight all 5 enemies to the death. Alright. 38 combat skill, 46 combat endurance. It's like, this is one of the reasons also why this book is notoriously bad for people with low stats. This fight is unavoidable. It's like, you absolutely have to go through it. So now, 37. We're gonna use Psyblast for this in order to have a combat ratio of 3. At this point, we're gonna need every edge that we can get. Okay, alright. Take a deep breath. Oh, 1. What a pleasant beginning. Okay, 5 damage to the enemy and 4 to us, plus 2 because of Psy Surge. 7. Okay, 11 damage and 1 damage to us. Minus 2. Okay, 5. 9 damage to the enemy, 2 damage to us. Five. Okay, 9 more damage to the enemy, and more damage for us. 7. 11 damage. And 1 damage to us, minus 2. 7. Okay, alright, we're at 8 HP. That bodes well. But hey, at least we win. So, alright, one moment. Alright. As the last of your enemies fall dead at your feet, the traitor vents a shrill cry of terror and scurries like a bloated spider toward the Shadow Gate. In his hand, he clutches a banded leaden box, and as he runs, he works feverishly at the lock. Suddenly, the lid springs back and your senses burn as the power of the last Lorestone is uncovered. Now, instinct alone guides your action. You sprint toward him, determined to stop him from entering the Shadow Gate. He squeals with fear and turns to face you, his hand raised, a ring of blue fire pulsating on his finger. He screams a curse and a jet of cold fire lances your chest and slams you to the door. You lose 5 endurance points. Alright, so now we're at 3 endurance points. As you stagger to your feet, the traitor runs forward to finish you with another blast. You dive aside and the blast tears open the floor, but before he can launch another, you leap forward and attack. Yep, Vonatar the traitor with a power ring. No, that's because that's all of the HP we lost because of the fight. We were at 8 HP when we won. Alright, so I hope you're not tired yet, because here's another fight, and we have only 3 HP in order to do it, but at least we have a combat ratio of 7. And yeah, immune to Mind Blast and Psy Surge. So, alright. It's like a good roll could end this right now, or 2, but the problem is we can't afford to roll low at all. Okay, 7. Okay, 7 and the combat ratio is 7. 14 damage! And no damage to us. 6. 11 damage to the enemy, only 1 damage to us. We are triumphant. If you win the combat, turn to 350. Vonatar lies dead on the black marble floor, his torn body oozing a blood that is thin and vile, like poisonous venom. You roll his corpse aside and take up the Lorestone in your trembling hands. Instantly, an overwhelming wave of power is transfused into your being, and you feel lifted, in mind and body, to a level of consciousness that transcends your mortal frame. You surrender to its power, and under its guidance, you are drawn inexorably toward the arch of the Shadow Gate. Willingly, you step into the darkness and begin your triumphant return to the world where you were born. Your quest has succeeded, for the essence of the remaining 2 Lorestones is now one with your body and spirit. But the final struggle has yet to be won, for the power of your mortal enemies, the Dark Lord of Hel'jedad, has waxed and grown strong during your time in the Daziarn. If you possess the courage of a true Kai Master, the ultimate battle awaits you in the final episode of the Magna Kai quest, entitled The Masters of Darkness. Also, no, if we would have one-shotted the Scarlet Warrior, contrived bullshit happens, and magically his Lorestone sack just randomly gets caught up into the net and the bird just flies away, carrying the bag with the Lorestones into the place. Like, it's fucking stupid. It's like it's basically there to raise your expectation, but no, it's fucking dumb. Alright, it's time to take one final decision. Now that we have one final book to take, that means one final discipline to take. Also, no, we've never played the funeral song properly. First of all, let's check out our improved disciplines now that we have reached the inviolable rank of Kai Master Archmaster. So yeah, animal control. Archmaster with this skill are able to command most animals to do their bidding, although effectiveness is diminished when attempting to control an hostile creature. Curing. Archmasters are able to use their healing power to repair serious wounds sustained in battle. If, while in combat, their endurance is restored to 6 points or less, they can use their skill to restore 20 endurance points. This ability can only be used once every 100 days. Hunt Mastery. Archmaster who possess this ability benefit from greatly increased senses of hearing, smell, and night vision. Their senses become even more acute upon attaining the rank of Kai Grandmaster. When using their psychic ability to attack an enemy, Archmaster may add 6 combat skill points instead of the usual 4, and for every round where Psy Surge is used, Archmaster need only deduct 1 endurance point. When using the weaker psychic attack, Mind Blast, they may add 3 points to our combat skill without loss of endurance point. Archmasters can't use Psy Surge if our endurance point is 4 or less. Nexus. Archmaster with the skill of Nexus are able to withstand extremes of heat and cold and possess limited immunity to harmful elements such as flames, toxic gases, and corrosive liquid. The duration of this immunity increases greatly upon obtaining Kai Grandmastership. Yeah, it's like all of these boosts will have been good to get now. It's like, ooh. Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, but we're not restoring the entire book if, you know, we fuck off. Oops. So, alright, first of all, we need to master one final weapon. Let's just say this one. Whoops, it's not the same shade of color. I'm colorblind. And now we have one final choice to pick. What discipline do we take? Animal control or invisibility? If we take animal control... oh, that's right, Solaris, we didn't have it. That's right, I'm a dumbass. But yeah, if we pick invisibility, we complete the Solaris circle. That will give us 1 extra combat skill point and 3 extra endurance points. And if we pick animal control, we will instead master the light lore circle, and that will give us 3 endurance points. Like at that point, invisibility will mainly be worth it just because of the extra combat skill point that we get. Nah, I never actually put the combat skill and endurance gain from that. I just was mistaken. Alright. So yeah, it's invisibility is probably gonna be the big pick, so alright. Invisibility. Oh. Alright, there we go. Now we get 3 extra endurance points and 1 extra combat skill. Alright, let's oh yeah, that's right, it's 34. Alright. So yeah, we pulled it off. We pretty much ended up beating what I consider to be the hardest book of the series. I mean, there are some books in the Grandmaster series which are about as hard, but yeah, I'd say this is about as worse as things get.